J. Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Hey! I'm going to make a proclamation, and I hope I'm not ahead of myself here. I want your guys' opinion. I drove by Cleveland State, as I do every day on the way in. Mm-hmm. They took one of their athletic bubbles off. Spring? This week.
Oh, the big dome thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I drove by there a little while ago. Yeah. They were playing, the lacrosse team was practicing outdoors.
That's nice.
Yeah. We got a week all of spring. This week, 50. There's a 60 in there.
Yeah. I think Friday or
so
Thursday.
I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to jinx it, but I feel like we have turned that corner.
I don't want to get us. I mean, I know there's 30 degrees days coming after that.
There are.
But
there are.
For a week, we've got spring.
So it feels like
spring here is very up and down.
Oh,
you get a
like
week that's nice and a week that's terrible.
Oh, we've had snow in late April.
Yeah,
since I've been home.
True, and this is my 15th or 16th winter in Cleveland. And
this is the worst.
I think
far.
It's been the worst.
I've only been back 7 years. Worst.
Right.
Not even close. By far.
Yeah.
Not even close in both cold and
snow. Yeah.
Our meteorology team upstairs always tracks like where we are on averages.
Yeah.
This winter, we are more than 7 degrees below our average temperature.
Yeah. So this 50 today is going to feel like 60.
It's going to really feel nice.
Yeah, it's going to be nice.
We had a little bit of sunshine and warm temperatures over the weekend, and it just feels like, like the seal on your home is cracked and open.
Yeah.
And it's like, here we go. Life is about to begin.
Even yesterday, it was like 40-something. I went to Heinen's in shorts.
Oh, did you really? Yeah. It's not that warm for me.
Yeah.
I pulled up. I said, hold on. I might want to shine my tires. My wife came back to the house and said, hey, man, your tires looking kind of dusty.
Oh, yeah, the cars are gross. My car's gross right now.
The tires are looking
with
crazy.
all the melt.
But
if we get 50s all week, and then we're supposed to get some rain later in the week, I think that will cleanse all that snow and dirt and grime, and then you can keep your car nice and clean. I'm also excited about this. Normally, I go to spring training the last week of February, so I'd be getting ready to go like next week. But this year, because of the Olympics, I wasn't able to get away.
Yeah.
But I've actually moved it to, I think, the second week in March. So I'm just thinking, get to that first week of March.
And you get 80
and then
degrees.
then you get a week of 80, and then when you come home, you're a week later into March. So
you should be in decent shape after that.
We're getting there. We're getting
Survive February.
That's it. You know what? That really is a good mantra.
Yeah.
Because January to me felt like we had like January 43rd. January 44. It just kept going.
Well, because the winter started early. We had that big storm around Thanksgiving. It just felt like it never ended. But
we're done, though.
Let's hope that by the time you get down to spring training, maybe the Guardians will make a late ad.
I was just going to say, Bull, the other reason that hope springs eternal for me is I looked at the rundown today as it came in last night, and I thought, whoa, a meaty Guardians topic.
Well, Mike called me last night, and he's like, what's a Guardians topic?
You're going to hate my answers,
baseball.
by the way.
Oh, boy.
You're going to hate my answers.
Really?
Great tease. Listen, and they're doing Guardians topic end of the show today with the last topic.
We are. So if you're a baseball guy, stay tuned. It'll be worth it.
Bull and I were discussing how to phrase it, right?
Yeah.
We came up with, and the topic is, it's not hidden, it's on the tweet. Like, give us an unproven player that you think will take a giant step forward.
Yeah, and that's why Bull's going to hate my answers.
Exactly.
He's going to hate my answers.
I don't know what I would hate.
Bull, he sent 4 of them. I don't think you're going to like any of them.
Oh, 4.
Yeah,
and I don't think
4.
you're going to like any of them.
And you will not like any of them. Now, what I did was...
That means Arias and Rocchio have to be on there.
Well, I mean, you might have hit on one of those.
Yeah.
But the other ones, you're like, wait a minute, But in my mind, unproven to me means that you have not reached your potential. So I kind of twisted the meaning of the word unproven. Like, I don't know, is Bo Naylor proven?
No.
Of course not.
I mean, based on that...
Is Brian Rocchio proven? Of course not.
Based on that definition, I would say Jose Ramirez and...
Stephen Kwan
and Cade Smith might be the only ones. I mean...
Well, and Mike listed 2 names, and among them, Kwan and Ramirez. So, and Gavin Williams you listed too.
Yeah.
But even he's only done it for 1 year.
So you could put him in the unproven. I almost put him in the unproven.
I would argue there's another level to him too. But I'm sorry, I'm going on and on.
We digress. But I can't wait to get your reaction to my.
Okay.
And now much of this is my eternal baseball optimism.
I get it.
Like I loved who's the Tigers guy that tracked all the playoff games and he was going crazy on Twitter.
Chris Castellani.
Yeah, that's it. He tweeted out what the Guardians' prospective starting lineup is. And again, if you look at it, you're like, nah, this is what it was last year. And he goes, 90 wins.
You're right.
Because that's what they do.
And he made fun of like half the lineup.
And it's easy to make fun of them.
We need October Rocchio. And 90 wins, right?
That's great, yeah. I like that guy a lot. Yeah. I like his approach. I like his sense of humor. He's funny.
I got one thing I got to mention before we dive into topics, but we had our men's league game yesterday like we usually do.
Yeah, how'd you do?
We lost yesterday. Shout out to the Vikings who they beat us. It was close, like 62-68, something like that.
That's rare for you guys, right? You guys almost never lose.
By the way, did you just say the losing score first, Mike?
Yeah, he did. He said
I did say it backwards.
That was
I don't remember the scores. We lost by 4 or 6. It was close.
Okay.
But shout out to the Vikings. They beat us.
Good for them.
And it was a real win. They made some shots. Good game. Afterwards, as we're putting my sweatpants back on, 2 or 3 of the guys came over, said, McNuggets, what's up, man? Good game. Make sure you tell G. Bush we said what's up. So I wanted to G
Bush.
Vikings.
The Vikings are like a G. Bush kind of team.
I am humble in victory and in defeat. They beat us yesterday. They deserved the win. Shout out to the Vikings. And I will
can we get him a Viking shirt?
Yeah,
I will
I'll take
deliver
one.
the message.
Vikings,
the Vikings are
Vikings
big G. Bush
basketball
fans.
wear, something.
They sent McNuggets to Valhalla.
He's got to have something.
Jeez.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was deep.
That was really
at least
crazy.
A T-shirt.
Yeah, but shout out to the Vikings.
Are you guys going to win the championship again?
We're 9-2.
Is this the team with Corey on it?
This is the team with Corey. Corey was not there yesterday.
Aha! Corey doesn't show up. You guys take the L.
You know what? They beat us yesterday fair and square. So I got.
So you're saying Corey wouldn't have made a difference?
Mike can't make excuses.
Corey would have helped, but it was a close game. But they made some tough shots down the stretch and
all right.
They were the better team yesterday. They deserved to win. We beat them the first time we played them. So
all right, very good.
That's more breakdown than we've ever done on the
Cavs.
I just want to give them a shout out for G. Bush because they did say what's up, G. Bush.
What's up, fellas? How y'all living, man? Hey, by the way, that's crazy. McNuggets
a lot to get to today with Jay and Bull on the panel together. We'll never get to an entire set of topics.
I feel like
and we are going to get
to
an entire set of topics. Quick reminder, guys, follow us on social media. We get some behind-the-scenes content coming out there. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Help UCSS grow as big as it possibly can. Let's dive in, though, guys, with the latest in the Browns search for defensive coordinator. There were 14 open defensive coordinator jobs this cycle. 13 have been filled. The Browns are the last team to fill its defensive coordinator this offseason, but the Browns are down to 3 finalists, and they are currently conducting in-person interviews over the next day and a half. They did some on Sunday with these 3 candidates. Jason Tarver is currently the Browns.
Mike, this is our only picture. We're stuck looking at the brother-in-law with the head coach, the son-in-law.
I'll change the picture tomorrow.
Jeez.
I thought it was a good picture. Todd Monken holding the helmet.
Yeah.
But the 3 finalists
telling,
for the
though,
defensive
coordinator
position
telling.
Sorry.
are Jason Tarver, the current linebackers coach for the Cleveland Browns. He is a former defensive coordinator in the NFL. Corey Unlin also is a former defensive coordinator. He's currently the Texans' defensive pass game coordinator, and Mike Ruttenberg, who was with the Falcons' defensive staff last year. Monken's an offensive guy, and G, I want to start with you on this one as a guy who played defense. We know Monken specializes on the offensive side of the ball. With Stefanski here, he gave full reign to Jim Schwartz to coach the defense. That was his entire side of the unit. Do you anticipate whoever Todd Monken hires this cycle to get full reign of the defense like that? And if that's the case, how important is it for Monken to nail this hire?
Well, I think you got to play it by ear a little bit. It's just basically, if there's a younger, inexperienced guy that they end up getting where they don't have any experience calling defenses or they don't have any experience, just putting together an entire game plan and executing it, sure, he might have a little say-so. And I always say the head coach automatically has the last say over everything in terms of the head coach can come to the defensive coordinator in a 4th down or pivotal 3rd down and say, hey, listen, we need to bring some pressure, or hey, give me your best blitz here, or hey, let's back off, let's play coverage here. But for the most part, they just let him do his job. So with me, I think Monken will have a little bit of say-so, but in terms of what his concentration level is going to be, it's going to be on the offensive side of the football. Now, if it is a veteran, I think if they hire Tarver, who's a guy who's already been inside the organization, he's already knows the personnel, knows everybody involved, and has the knowledge of what Jim Schwartz was running last year and what worked best. I think it's a different story. Right now, you can see his bio, man. He's been the defensive coordinator going all the way back to 2011. He was a Raiders defensive coordinator, right? So he's done it at a lot of different places. And plus, I think what helps him, for me, I would hire Tarver. I'm going to just keep it real with you. I would hire him because he already has, the position group that is the most pivotal in terms of getting people lined up. So he already knows Carson Schlesinger. He coached Carson Schlesinger. That's going to be the leader, the vocal leader in terms of getting people lined up and understand what they need to do. And by the way, showed me a lot last year, dragging a leg around and an arm around, wouldn't take no games off. So you have that captain dude. So I think if you give the job to Tarver, it's the closest thing you're going to get to setting it and forgetting it. Like, just do your thing. Let me worry about over here. But if they go off the page a little bit and get a young guy, they're going to have to put more time and energy in figuring out whether or not that guy knows what to do.
Go ahead, Jay.
I'm with you. I don't know anything about any of these guys. I'll be perfectly honest. I do like, the one thing I know is that there's some continuity with Tarver, and I like that. I was thinking when I was addressing this topic this morning and how I wanted to come about it, it hit me in that moment the way you had phrased it, because you phrased like the defense was, we never worried about the defense. We did not worry about the defense really for the last couple of years. They had moments where they were like, wait a minute, against, I think it was Atlanta that ran all over us. We're like, come on, fix this.
Oh, man, that was Joe Woods era.
It was terrible. But I honestly believe that for the last couple of years with the defense being set, it really struck me this morning, this is what Jimmy did. Jimmy took the strength of our team and blew it up, because what he did ultimately chased off the defensive coordinator. And now we have a new head coach who's thrust his offense. So we took... And it reminds me a little bit of when Bill Callahan left. And I remember as we were leading up to that season, his first season gone, I had said we did 3 points, that like 3 big things that are to look for this year. And one of my big 3 was watch the offensive line. I believe they are going to take a major step back because we have all under-prioritized what Bill Callahan meant to that unit. And how, because, that's not one position, that's a group, as much as anything like the defensive line. It's a group. And they stepped back in such a dramatic way that we couldn't do anything offensively. And we've kind of been in that abyss ever since. I'm afraid that halfway through this coming season, we're going to look back and say, wow, Jimmy napalmed our strength. And now our strength is another one of our weaknesses. So I don't know where we go from here. Continuity would be good, but I think that we're going to be having the discussion next year about, wow, we never thought about Jim Schwartz in the defense because it was so good, and now all of a sudden, the saying, you don't know what you have till it's gone. I'm afraid that we're going to be in that situation. Now, hopefully, because we have an offensive-minded head coach, which we did before, hopefully the offense will take a step forward and they can start pulling some of their weight. But as it comes to the defensive coordinator, I just feel like as we move into the season, we're going to look back on that process, how Jimmy was publicly saying, he's so important, the new guy must keep him. And we ended up losing him. To me, the mission statement was to make a change at head coach while keeping the continuity of the defense. And we made a change at head coach, but we did not fulfill mission 2, part 2 of that mission statement, in keeping our defensive continuity going. So I don't know that any of these guys are up to the challenge. Are they going to be Jim Schwartz? I don't know. The pieces are there. I like that. I don't think the cupboard's bare. I think I always talked about how the Bucs in 03 when they won the Super Bowl had a Hall of Fame caliber player at each level. They had Warren Sapp on the defensive line, Derek Brooks in the linebacking core, and they had two really between John Lynch and Rondé Barber in the back end. I think that we're getting there. Obviously, Myles Garrett is probably going to end up as the greatest ever to play the defensive line. I think with Schlesinger, and who knows about JOK? I tried to do some research this morning on JOK for a topic that we have later in the show. I haven't heard a damn thing, which is scary. But, imagine if JOK comes back to his old self and you've got JOK and Schlesinger in the middle section, and then you've got Delpit and Denzel in the back section. That's an elite defense. Yeah. So hopefully the coach doesn't mess that up, and we can continue going where we're going.
Obviously, this is a huge hire. Todd Monken's he may be a veteran of coaching, but he's a first-year head coach.
So he's never done
He's already calling the plays.
Yeah.
He's already got a lot on his plate. He needs a defensive coordinator that can handle the defense. Of course, the head coach is going to oversee on some level, but Todd Monken is not going to be able to get into the weeds on defense, especially once in the preseason, sure. But once the season starts, he can't get in the weeds on defense. He's got enough on his plate being the head coach and taking care of the offense. So this hire is huge. Like you said, Jay, to be totally honest, I didn't know any of these three guys. No. I'd heard the name Tarver because he was one of our assistant coaches.
Right, me too.
The other two guys I never even heard of before.
I hadn't either.
All right, now, so which one do you hire? Who knows? But I would rule out Ruttenberg because he's never been a DC before. And I think you need to hire someone that's been a defensive coordinator. So I would rule out Ruttenberg in that case. Now, he may blow them away. Who knows? But the other two guys have been defensive coordinators. Ruttenberg, in fact, has never been higher than a position coach until this past season. So he'd be off the list for me based on that. The other two guys, I would lean towards Tarver, even though Unlin has a great track record and a great history. The reason I would lean towards Tarver is because he was here.
Right.
And you talk about, you're worried about we're all worried about the defense going backwards. Even under Schwartz, the defense could have gone backwards. We saw it.
Could have.
23 to 24. And then back up 25. Defenses are very fickle. Even with a lot of good players. One guy goes out, it could change the whole thing. But your best chance of keeping the status quo, which you'd like to keep with the defense, would be to hire a guy who was one of, obviously, the top guys under the guy you unfortunately lost in Jim Schwartz. So, again, if they hire Unlin, fine. Even if they hire Ruttenberg, I'm not going to say, oh, my God, what a disaster, but because I don't even know him.
Right.
But I think Tarver makes the most sense in terms of continuity. He knows the players. And we saw it. Myles Garrett was not happy about Schwartz leaving. No. I'm sure there's a lot of players on that defense. Well, at least with Tarver, it's a guy who's been here.
Yeah, there's familiarity
that they have. Now, maybe you could argue they need somebody from outside to shake it up a little bit. I don't know. But I think with the defense, you don't. And so I would go, Tarver seems like the right call.
It's so crazy. I think one of the things that they might be able to do, too, and this is just me thinking out loud, I really, as I hear Myles Garrett talk, I think that Todd Monken came to him and was like, listen, guys, hey, look, you guys are leaders. You guys are playmakers. You guys know what the defense is. And it is reminiscent of the way the Patriots used to play. Now, don't get it twisted. Bill Belichick is one of the greatest defensive coordinators. He's a defensive guy. He's a defensive-minded head coach. However, if you go back and watch those Patriot teams, right, it wasn't necessarily the defensive coordinator. We got Vrabel. We got Harrison. We got Richard Seymour. We got Vince Wilfork. We got Willie McGinnis.
Right, Ted we don't have all those guys.
No,
this team hasn't won anything, so they don't. Those guys knew how to win.
So here, but also, those guys. It's an example. It's not apples to apples because obviously those guys were champions. But I guess the point I'm making is when you have great players and you have new coaches or turnover, you're counting on your best players to be the dudes that hold it down.
You are.
You're counting on So if I'm Todd Monken, I'm going to Myles Garrett and say, listen, man, obviously you're a Hall of Famer. Obviously you want a certain level of cachet. This is your opportunity to be a guy. Hey, you want to be on the defensive meetings? Come on in here, Myles. If you want, I want Myles, I want Denzel, I want Shedeur. I want those guys to be in there with the defensive coordinator, breaking down film, talk about what the game plan going to look like.
Well, I would hope that you're already doing that.
I don't get it with Jim Schwartz. I feel like Jim Schwartz was he's the alpha male, he's the guy.
Oh, you mean to have input?
Yes.
I don't know what I think about that.
Well, I'm not saying that you got to say, Myles Garrett, what do you want to run this week? But what I'm asking him,
things that keep them comfortable. I get that.
I'm asking him because I want some buy-in. I want Myles Garrett to be able to go to the rest of the guys and be able to explain to them, and then be able to be a guy that can lead and have an example.
It's interesting. But where are you? I'm always in the mindset.
I think coaches coach, players play.
Coaches coach. That's always been my mindset. Now, I do hear what you're saying. I know, like, there are certain offenses, and when you get to that level, like Myles has, that you have that cachet, that the coaches actually want to hear your input.
Yeah.
And I would hope that to a degree that goes on already. I know there are many systems where the quarterback is part and parcel of the game planning with the head coach.
Sure. Right.
Like Tom Brady, trust me, when Tom Brady was in New England, Tom Brady was sitting in those, when you're devising the game plan this week, he's saying, look, I already know Atlanta runs a too high shell. I like this, I like that, I like the seams against them. Let's run this. I would think that Myles probably is, particularly with division games where he knows the personnel twice a year, I would think that the coaches would listen to his input. Particularly, if the coach comes from outside of the system.
Right.
And let's say he's an NFC guy. Well, he doesn't know what the Ravens do. He doesn't know what the Steelers do. He doesn't know what the Bengals do. At that point, I want Myles and I want Denzel and I want their input to say, okay, what do we see from these guys?
We all wanted Myles to we always talk about leadership, taking a step forward leadership-wise. He took a step forward on the field, right? What I would challenge him to do is, we need you to be the de facto coach in the room for the defense.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And what we want you to do is we want you to be highly involved. Same with Denzel Ward. And I know I'm saying Carson Schedeur, but I think he's just built different, bro. I think he's like the epitome of a team captain linebacker that only care about football, and he's not going to play around. And he's going to go out and play when he's hurt. He's going to go out and play and do those things.
Proved that.
So if they could put more on their plate and hold each other accountable, because you did say something I agree with. The coaches coach, but the players play. But the players are the ones who have to lead. They are the ones who have to lead from the front, especially your best players. And I think that Todd Monken is going to those defensive guys and saying, listen, Jim Schwartz is great, but you guys have the ability to produce. You've done it. It's a track record. It's on film.
Before we move to the next topic, I know you want to go, Mike, real quick.
No, I got something on this.
Oh, on this topic.
Yeah.
Okay. I am wondering if I'm the only one that read things like this. When Todd Monken said at his introductory news conference, I didn't come here because Jim Schwartz. To me, that's a shot. I think, my hope was when he was asked that question that he would have shown reverence and respect and said, hey, and he did praise him, but I was hoping it would go like this. Guys, let me tell you something. We need Jim Schwartz in this organization.
Well, maybe he knew that was...
Maybe he already did, but one way or another, that ship hadn't yet sailed, okay? The Browns hadn't accepted his resignation yet. To me, I just felt like when he said, I didn't come here because Jim Schwartz. I came here because of the defense, because of the Browns players. And I just wonder what Myles Garrett in that moment was thinking when his new boss tells him, I didn't come here because your coach was any good. And I just felt like, wow, that seems a little divisive. Most new head coaches find the best player. Yeah. And they at least on the surface, and I'm not saying they should acquiesce to everything to that player, but you've got to vibe with that player.
Yeah, man.
And I just felt like that was kind of
like, I came here for the players.
I'm reading too much into it?
I don't really see it that way. My guess is, because he said he had spoken to Schwartz, my guess is he knew it was gone. So it's
probably.
I don't care about the other coaches. He's gone. Let's move on.
I think I take a look at it like completely different. I look at it like, first of all, I think that he talked to Jim Schwartz, and I think behind the scenes he knew Jim Schwartz was not coming back.
He must have.
And then Myles Garrett puts out the meme, right? And he's sitting there where he's sad, like Jim Schwartz is gone. And I've always told people, hey, you need to do a better job of using the media to get points, talking points, and your messaging out there. What I thought he was doing is he was signaling to those guys who are apprehensive about change, apprehensive that the defense might change, and we're really good at what we do. It's going to be uncomfortable. Who knows? We might have a 3-4 in here. Who knows? We have a great defense. We're close-knit, and we know individually we put up production in the system. What I think he was doing is rest assured and telling them, hey, guys, don't worry about that. We're going to keep the same system. We're going to make sure that you guys are successful because guess what? We think it works, and the defense is built that way. But ultimately, I think he was breathing confidence into him saying, look, I know Jim Schwartz is a great coordinator, but I believe in you. I believe in what you guys can do. I didn't come here because of the coordinator. I came here because I wanted to coach a guy like Myles Garrett.
And if that's so, then he's empowering and he's playing to the players' egos.
Yes. Yes.
I hope if that's true and that's the case, and again, I bring up the offensive line situation from a couple of years ago. When Bill Callahan left, it was just like someone unplugged the whole unit, and they just crumbled right in front of our eyes. That offensive line was horrible.
And you know what though, Jay, too?
I think some of that was coincidence. I don't think it
happened
was all.
at once.
I'm not going to.
It all happened at once. Our offensive
I mean,
line went from. Remember the year before they weren't supposed to be that great, but they overachieved.
You, but like Tennessee was terrible on the
offensive
line.
but Tennessee didn't have the pieces we did. We had decent pieces.
But the pieces were going downhill. They were getting old.
Now
and we've seen it.
I'll give you that.
You said this, and maybe you can elaborate on it. You said like when you got the defense together, right? If they first few games take a step back, that's going to be very difficult. Like, if you look at the offense, there isn't much expectation there. But the problem is the defense has expectations in the standard. Yeah. And if the first 3 or 4 games something happens, they're going to automatically be like, oh, this ain't
Absolutely.
it.
I know a lot of fans was like, well, this is a great job for a defensive coordinator. I don't think so and it might turn out to be if they do a good job, but you can really only go down.
Yeah.
Like unless the defense becomes the greatest defense in the last 10 years, the DC is going to get no credit if it's just like as it was last year.
You're right.
But if it goes down even at all,
and that would
he's going to get a lot of the blame.
If that happens too, where they play even better, that severely impacts Jim Schwartz's return to the NFL.
No doubt.
Because they'll say, well, they were actually being held back by Jim Schwartz.
You betting on that?
And no, I'm not betting on that. But you know what? Here's what I learned. We were having conversations, some buddies of mine, and on a text chain after the Super Bowl. And it's like, okay, so at the end of every year, what did you learn? And here was my takeaway for the year, what I learned. What I learned is what we thought we knew, we didn't, because everything constantly evolves in the NFL. You can win now with defense. We saw it. And you
still need a quarterback.
You can win now with a great running back. Well, I mean, honestly, you do need a quarterback, I believe, over the long haul. But like they didn't win the Super Bowl because their quarterback played. They won because they had a great defense and a run game. Sounds familiar. Cyclical. It all comes back around. But what I would say on that note is my big takeaway was I watched 2 teams that weren't in the playoffs last year play in the Super Bowl. I watched one quarterback that had been given up on by 4 teams take his 5th team to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So I think what I've learned is I know a lot less. I don't think any of us know what we thought we knew.
And it's 1 year. 1 year is 1 year.
But it's the most recent sample size we have. It's a big sample size. It's 300 games. It's over 300 games with all the games that were played. And I think, so I try to do this at the end of every year. Okay, what's my takeaway from this year? And my big takeaway was, hell, anything's possible. So could the Browns defense actually play better? Sure. Could they take a massive step back? You bet. Mm-hmm. And what I've decided is I'm no longer going to sit there with wide eyes and my mouth open going, I never saw that coming. I watched Sam Darnold win the Super Bowl.
Shock. It was a very surprising season.
It was a surprising season.
Big time, no doubt.
And so
a lot of ways.
That's why I say, not to dismiss all of our knowledge, but to kind of humble all of us and say, well, no expert before the season picked Seattle and New England. No one.
That's true.
No.
And so because of that, maybe we don't know what we thought we knew. And also, I do believe this, the NFL is a breathing organism. It changes. When the offenses were running pinball numbers, the defenses made adjustments and the general managers and front offices made adjustments to beef up the defenses because we're going to have to stop this if we want to make it. So now I think we're at the point where defense has been prioritized, and you're seeing that in the results. You're seeing that the number 1 defense and the number 4 defense made it to the Super Bowl, while the number 1 offense in the Rams lost to the number 1 defense twice in 3 tries. So
one last
I think
thing
it's changed.
I think if the Rams had played the Patriots, it would have been the Rams and Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
I believe that if the Rams had won, the Rams would have won the Super Bowl.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I'm saying if the Rams were in the AFC, they would have beat. The Rams were the second best team this year.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
We mentioned Tarver. I just want to mention Unlin real quick. And Bull, you mentioned Ruttenberg hadn't been in D.C. before. Unlin's ties to he worked in Cleveland for a while. He actually was in Cleveland under Romeo Crennel for a while. He won a Super Bowl as an assistant under Belichick. He won a Super Bowl as a defensive pass game coordinator and a defensive backs coach with Jim Schwartz in Philadelphia. And the last 3 years, he's been with DeMeco Ryans in Houston. I don't know the first thing about the guy other than like the connections.
He was the passing game coordinator in Houston
The last 3 years with their terrific
including
defense.
the year where we went down there and we
Got
suddenly
destroyed,
couldn't throw the football anymore after Joe Flacco threw it all over the place.
As DeMeco Ryan has been the head coach, Unlin has been his defensive pass game coordinator. He's worked with Schwartz before. He's been in 3 Super Bowls as a defensive coach. He lost one with the 49ers when he was in San Francisco. He won one in Philadelphia. He won one as an assistant in New England before the stuff you
That's a nice resume.
So
Yeah.
just
I think it's a little strong to say he won one, he lost one. I mean, he's not the head coach.
He was on the staff that
Yeah.
won a Super Bowl. It's
Like I
fair
said,
to
just
say.
want to give him his
had
30
input.
seconds of
No.
Yeah, no,
love.
that's
in
fair.
case he gets hired and it's like, where did he come from? Well, there you go.
Does
There's
anybody
your-
think that there's a favorite?
Yeah.
we haven't heard much about
I think
what's going
Unlin's
on.
the favorite.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh.
I do too. Just based off reports from Twitter.
I think the most important thing is don't try to make any significant changes to how you're running your defense. Because
Yeah, no, and
you've
you said
drafted guys
earlier,
that fit
who
the
knows
system.
what's going to happen. They
Yeah.
could switch to a 3-4. That'd be the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, they won't do that.
Like, you're running a 4-3, and I think there's 0% chance of that
No,
ever
they're not messing with
changing.
that.
But I do think that it's important, very important for the entire season, that this unit comes out in their first 4 games and looks very similar to what we last saw when they were on the field, holding opponents to 17, 13, 10, 14. You cannot give up 27 points or 35 points in one of your first 3 or 4 games because the hardest thing to overcome is the bad first impression. And the worm in Cleveland turns quickly. And, if quickly they would turn on a defensive coordinator that was putting out a product that looks vastly inferior to what we last saw.
I do think that there is a way and there's a very easy path that you look at it that the defense could possibly be better. Now, Myles Garrett has a floor of 14 sacks. All he does is go out and get 14 sacks. He has a floor. Denzel Ward, of course, he's consistent in terms of locking guys up, even guys in the division like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Tyson Campbell.
I like him a lot.
Second year in the defense. I liked him a lot last year. Carson Sweat will get better, and then like Mike Hall Jr. injured all year. So he was coming back from injury, so that's another guy. And then obviously Mason Graham, that you're hoping to take a bigger step and a larger step.
They also were very healthy outside of Hall last, and I personally don't think Hall's any good, but their key players were all healthy.
I think Hall's got a lot of potential. He flashed some brilliance when we saw him.
I think.
don't know.
The problem is we didn't see him much.
hurt.
I think if they thought he was that good, they wouldn't have drafted a defensive tackle in the first round.
That's true. That's
And
true.
Malik Collins it could be a whole thing. We got a lot to get to, guys. Let's get to our next topic. Quick reminder, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Costs you $0.00. You can follow us on social media for some extra content, too. G. Bush, you brought this up at the end of a discussion last week. Kind of just threw it out there. And I said, you'll put it on the list. We'll make it a topic when the right panel's on. I think today's the proper panel for this topic. It's a 2-part question, and G, I'll let you start with it again. Or G, I'll let you start with it again, excuse me, as you're the one that proposed this. The first part is, what percentage chance do you think Deshaun Watson has of ever returning to his 2020 All-Pro form? And secondly, in a world where whatever percentage you think that can or can't happen, let's say it does happen, is that level of quarterback play, All-Pro 2020 Deshaun Watson, good enough to lead this Browns team on a playoff run this year?
Let me just back up a little bit. Let me just back up. I'm gonna answer this backwards. There's a lot of people, given what happened and transpired with the allegations, him sitting out a year in Houston, then having an 11-game suspension, then get injured with the shoulder, then getting injured with the Achilles. I think after you start to compound these things and you get further and further away from it, you don't remember in real time what it looked like. Let me just tell you something. Deshaun Watson in 2020 was undeniably a top 5 quarterback. Deshaun Watson in 2020 was cooking. This dude was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I think as further we get away from it, we kind of forget because there's a disappointment level because we feel like we didn't get the return on investment for what we gave up. And it's been a series of different catastrophes one after the other. But let's not get it twisted. If you get a 2020 version of Deshaun Watson, what do you mean playoffs? 2020 version of Deshaun Watson, you are a Super Bowl contender.
Woo! Wow!
You get that? We just talked about, Jay. We just talked about how quarterback play and with Sam Darnold and looking at it right now. I would willing to wager. Is anybody? What is the highest passing yards so far this last year?
In the entire NFL?
Entire NFL.
What are you talking about, like for the season?
For the season. Who had the most passing yards?
I think
the most passing yards was Matthew Stafford with 4,707.
So that means 2020 Watson would have had the most passing yards.
Now, I think here's why that hits me the wrong way. Because the old 300-yard game was the standard of excellence for passing. Mm-hmm. That's not like 250. We don't have the 300-yard passing games that we once did. And I think that goes back to the fact that the defenses have gotten better.
Errors have something to play with it, what they were doing back then compared to now. So the numbers will be skewed a little bit based on what the tendencies and the statistics say now is the average game.
Right.
However, if you still look at it, I mean, it still stands.
How many games did that Watson team win?
Not many.
They won 4.
They had a terrible defense.
They won 4 games.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
They're 4-12.
Right, but you're talking about the worst, maybe the worst defense in the league versus one of the best defenses in the league.
Maybe. I don't recall.
They were terrible.
I don't recall that. I mean, I don't remember them being good.
Yeah,
they finished.
Where were they?
They were
ranked?
4-12.
22. Yeah, exactly.
They finished on defense 30th in yards allowed and 27th in points allowed.
Okay, so it's a bottom 5.
Yes.
To be safe.
And 70% completion percentage. Matter of fact, how many yards did he rush for that year?
Like
That
500.
season?
Yeah.
I think
That
500.
season, Deshaun Watson rushed in 2020.
Yeah, it was a
for
lot.
444
And he
yards.
scored a lot of
3
touchdowns too on the ground, I think.
He missed 3 that year.
Yeah.
Man, I got to tell you, I think
he was nice.
The back half of what you said there is so true. We've seen so much since that Deshaun Watson
right.
that I can't squint and make it look the same.
Doesn't seem possible.
It doesn't seem.
It feels like he got taken over by a body snatcher, and it's a different person.
Where is the old Deshaun Watson, and who is this guy?
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. Now, 10 minutes ago, I sat right here in this seat and said, hey, from now on, I'm not saying anything's impossible. Is that possible? Because the question was, what percent chance?
Yeah, what percent chance?
I didn't give it.
I give him a 5% chance of being that guy again.
I gave him 10.
Okay, that's better than what I had.
10.
What do you say?
My percentage is 0.02.
Only because zero's not an option anymore.
That's
because he's had a significant injury to his throwing arm,
right,
and a significant injury to his other weapon, his Achilles,
and his
and
mobility.
so as much as I would, and now by the way, here's something that's interesting. I believe his stats when 2024, he didn't have a full season, obviously, but what was his touchdown? I think he was 7-4 in 23,
and he was 5
and 5-3. Okay, correct. So here's something that's interesting, guys. Let's add those two together, and we don't even get a full season with that. But if we add those two,
if you add all 3 Cleveland seasons together, because that's 2 more games than
right. So it's not a bad ratio.
It's 19 touchdowns, 13 picks.
Okay, now
That's
not good.
Nope.
But when you compare that to 7-10 or 8-10,
Shedeur was 7-10. Dylan was 7-2.
Okay, so 14-12 for those two combined, and with Deshaun, you had 19-14,
19-13.
19-13. Okay, so like it doesn't sound as awful as well. You can't give the ball up. You just can't give the ball up.
I think too, as we start to see other quarterbacks, you can also go back and visit and be like, hold on, let me check and see if he was that nasty. Because once we saw DTR play, we was like, it can get worse.
That blew the ceiling down.
And then
What did he have? 0 touchdowns, 10 picks, I think.
Jameis Winston came out and threw for like 500 yards, and then he kept throwing for 300, and then for 3 games in a row, he just threw like 5 picks a game. And then he, at one point, they say, I just can't stop throwing picks.
I know.
And so you look at it.
It's like Darnold saying, I'm seeing ghosts.
I'm seeing, like, so for me, he was that good. Like, and I think it is crazy because now, unless you go back and revisit it, you kind of you think that a lot of people out there that's younger will probably think this is the only guy there's ever been.
Right.
Like this is.
There are a lot of folks that think that.
So
I don't remember Deshaun Watson, college football.
College too.
Clemson.
I think you're pushing it with the Super Bowl talk. I can't even say it's crazy. When you first said it, I was like, in my mind, I was saying, geez, out of his mind. And then I was like, well, is the Patriots' skill position talent very good? It's not.
No. And what their formula was a really good defense and a good quarterback.
And the reason I knew they were going to lose the Super Bowl is because they had no running game in the playoffs.
None.
And a rookie quarterback against a great team. But anyway, so, okay, let's look at what the Browns would be if this past season, if Deshaun Watson had played at the 2020 level. So
they probably win their division.
They would have had to win 5 more games to win the division. I don't know what the tiebreaker would have been against. We'll say 5 more games. Could they have won 5 more games with quarterback play like that? Absolutely.
I think they absolutely would.
Is it a guarantee? No.
No.
Would they definitely have been a playoff team with that Deshaun Watson? Not definitely. I think there's a 85% chance they would have made the playoffs and won the AFC North if they had Deshaun Watson 2020 play. Again, that's to me at this point is a pipe dream, unfortunately. But yes, they would have, because if you look at that Texans team, they were horrible, right? Their defense was one of the worst in the league. Their leading rusher was David Johnson, who was past his prime. I think he had like 800 yards. They had one receiver over 1,000 yards, Brandon Cooks, good player, better than Jerry Jeudy is now. But the rest of their receiving core was nothing. They had Will Fuller, who was always hurt, and that was it. They had no tight end.
They put up numbers.
Now, I don't know, but you know what? Their offense wasn't, like, their offense was, in terms of points, was middle of the road.
Right. That's
because
why
they had no running game. And they, and
Bull,
their defense
I brought
was
this up
bad.
before, and now I could probably go back and have AI exactly figure this out very easily. And I haven't done that yet. But at the time of the trade, I remember saying one of the reasons I was anti-Deshaun Watson at the time of the trade, aside from the baggage, let's just forget about that. Let's talk about the player, Deshaun Watson. Even though I just felt like he was kind of like Kevin Love when he was in Minnesota. He put up great numbers. He was the focal point, but could he carry another team as the guy deep into a playoff run? It's a great complimentary guy, and I'm not saying that Deshaun's complimentary, but my fear with Deshaun was they were getting blown out in a lot of those games in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, that's true.
So AI, I will have them do that later today. I will have them go back and tell me what percentage of his yards passing and touchdowns came in the fourth quarter.
Because that's just 1 year also, Jay. The 2 years before that, he played great and they made the playoffs.
He did. His best year, though, was 20.
His best year was 20, but he was also a Pro Bowler,
so
a legit Pro Bowler.
It's hard for me to figure out that a player could have that kind of season and they only win 4 games.
It's unusual.
It's highly unusual.
When the rest of the team stinks.
For a defense that wasn't like 32nd and all-time one of the worst.
I mean
it was 27th in points.
But you got to look at what year did they trade DeAndre Hopkins?
I don't
remember that either.
Hopkins got traded. One second.
Was he on the team
Here's the
during the
bottom
season?
line. The Browns would have been a whole lot better this past season. They would have been at the very least a playoff contender.
Yes.
Now, ultimately, they still have very little skill position talent, and that would have held them back probably in the postseason ultimately. But with the defense as good as it was last year and great quarterback play, the odds are they would have made the playoffs.
I can't think of many teams that fit that bill that didn't make playoff runs.
Exactly.
Like if you have great quarterback play,
it's the Bengals,
and you have a great defense, you damn well better make a deep playoff run.
They probably would have made the playoffs.
If you look at the Bills that have a great quarterback, they couldn't do it.
No,
they couldn't do it.
They didn't have a great defense either.
No, but that's the missing element. So I believe now. Here's another question that I was thinking about when I was thinking about what % chance do I give him to return. It's going to sound like this is a duplicitous answer, and I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth, and I do that a lot. Deshaun, if you were to break up the quarterback pie with the 3 quarterbacks that are there, and I know that there's a strong likelihood that someone else is coming in.
Sure.
But if you just break down the chances of the guys that are there winning the starting job, how do you split that 100 between the 3 guys?
Only between the 3?
If it's just between the 3.
I would say 80% Shedeur.
Oh, that's okay. That's a little higher than I thought.
19% Deshaun, and 1% Dillon Gabriel.
How about you?
Man, so I got to keep injury in there. So I'm going to give...
Well, assuming health.
I'm going to give...
Well, Deshaun is 100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to
We're told that he's 100%.
Yeah.
I'm going to... Man, I don't see no scenario where Dillon Gabriel is starting quarterback.
So 0. So then it's basically you're splitting 100 between 2.
So if you had to ask me, I would go 85% Shedeur Sanders, 15%. And here's the
85-15.
Here's the reason why I say 85-15. I was watching this podcast and somebody was talking about it. They said, so one of the worst nightmares that you can have is, Deshaun Watson, say he is the starting quarterback, and say he does do well. As a matter of fact, say he gets to 75% of what he used to be. Looks good.
Yeah.
Team's winning. And then his contract is up.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, here's the problem with that, and because this is football, you don't even think about past the contract. You can't think about that. You just have to think about 2026. You can't think about, and here's the good news. The good news is that's the last year of his deal. Now, in your scenario, if he plays well, that's the bad news. But that is a bridge that Jimmy and the gang would love to drive their golf cart over.
Oh, yeah.
They would love to drive their golf cart over that bridge.
But didn't push
Think about Minnesota last year.
Yeah.
They saw Sam Darnold do it. They saw it with their own eyes. And they passed.
Let me ask you a question.
He played poorly in the playoff game.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
If say he does come back, say hypothetically, he comes back, he's the quarterback, he is 75% of what he was, the team wins 8 games. Are you signing him?
No.
I would not.
No way.
No.
So
hard. I might feel differently if it actually happens.
So
I don't know.
So if you're not going to sign him, then
it's hard to wrap my head around that reality.
Here is a scenario, okay?
Yeah.
Because again, in this new world that I live in, where anything is possible, Bull might be the center of the Browns next year in my new world. hey,
that'd be a cool story.
Alternate
he's going to be fit and trim by training camp. You watch.
Hopefully,
mark my words.
Hopefully, I won't be big enough to play center.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. You might be a linebacker.
Yeah. Fullback.
Now that might be a little stretch in my anything is possible NFL world, but
not a lot of 5'7" linebackers.
Here is a possible scenario. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not predicting this.
Yeah.
I'm simply saying that in a world where Brock Purdy goes from Mr. Irrelevant to one of the highest paid players in the entire NFL, and where Sam Darnold goes from scrap heap to 4 teams to Super Bowl champion, it is not a mental stretch to see Deshaun Watson completely come back.
You talked me into it. 1% chance. I'm going 1%. Up from 0.02.
So here's no, your 0.2 was for Dillon Gabriel.
No, I mean when you originally
then he comes back to 2020.
He comes back, yeah.
So if you stretch mental and you do the gymnastics, he's healthy. We don't know what the shoulder is. We don't know, but by all accounts, he's 100% healthy. Here's the other big thing that we talked about. If you write the book right now on Deshaun Watson's demise, to me, the first chapter of that book has to be mental collapse. It has to be. We saw a player who was supremely confident, Heisman Trophy winner, NCAA champion, be accused. And by the way, I'm sure you guys talked about this last week. The last 2 of those suits have been thrown out. Done. That chapter of his life.
One of them was settled, I think. Right?
I just heard that both.
Yeah.
Both
Either way, it's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
Also, he's another year older, hopefully wiser, hopefully more mature. I don't troll his Instagram page, so what I'm about to say might be wrong. But I haven't heard of it, so I think it's not as prevalent. I don't think he's posting his world tour Deshaun Watson with his Gucci bags. I don't know.
He did.
I don't know. Is he?
Yeah, he out there. He's married now.
Right. And that, to me, Bull or G, that's a part of the equation. So here's what I would say. Year older, hopefully year wiser, more mature, less concerned about what people think about you. I believe the people that post those kinds of things, what they're saying on their post without saying it is, look at me. And to me, the mental mindset of someone that's doing that is also a little bit insecure of himself. He needs reassurance that he's all that. Immaturity, really.
I think you could argue that. Also, younger people think differently.
Listen.
They just like to put themselves out there.
You're right, but I think as you get older, you care less and less about that. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? And I'm saying, I'm not predicting it, but I'm saying there is a world where he came so close to seeing his ultimate demise as an NFL player, right? That perhaps he went into his cocoon. He sort of reinvented himself. What are my priorities? I think football is a bigger priority for him now because he's almost lost it. If Sam Darnold can resurrect his career, I'm not saying it's a huge stretch to think that Deshaun Watson can resurrect his career. So if he goes 8-9 and he's 22 touchdowns, 16 picks, no, he's not coming back. But if he goes 13-4, 12-5, 29 touchdowns, 11 picks.
Well, that's, yeah.
Now we're talking about we have to reconsider. Yeah. So while we've all been counting down to year 5, so this deal can finally, our long civic nightmare can finally be over.
It's not totally over because it still affects the cap for a few more years.
Well, because they've kicked that can down the road for 8 years. It's going to be 3 more years after this. But I say that if he does that, if he gets 29 touchdowns, 11 picks, they're 12-5, they win the division, they win a playoff game, Jimmy will gladly cross that bridge at that time.
Sure.
Because here's the biggest reason why. That means that the Browns didn't, even though the owner publicly said, I made a mistake. If he comes back and does that, it would also mean that the Browns never gave up on him. They didn't completely give up on him.
Yeah.
And there might be a sense of gratitude there. And who knows, his next contract might look like 3 years for $60 million, which, by the way, what a bargain. He doesn't need the money anymore. So there is a world where he gets the starting job, either wins it or, in this offense, there's always injuries, that he gets to play again, he plays well enough again, where he completely rewrites his history. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm not predicting that's going to happen. What I'm saying is, in this new world of the NFL, it is possible for him to resurrect his career the way Sam Darnold did his.
The only reason I give it a chance of him playing is that you just don't know what Todd Monken's thinking. Like, coaches, you got to be arrogant on some level.
Did I see Friday? The show was on, but the volume wasn't up. It was on in the newsroom, and I looked up and I saw a banner, and I thought it said, it was Friday, report, Watson 100% healthy, Monken something about intrigued, or
he was asked about the quarterback situation,
and
he said, I'm intrigued by the talent that Deshaun Watson is.
I just think it's possible that he looks at Deshaun Watson and says, I can fix that guy.
I think that's going on. I think that's going on.
You know, I mean, right now it seems impossible because you're right, Sam Darnold was terrible.
I gave up on him.
But
you gave up on him.
This guy's been bad for 5 years.
He has.
Been either not playing or bad.
You know what? When I
years.
think about it, Bull, mostly it's been not playing. He's been here 4 years, and how many games has he played?
19 career games. With
Okay,
Cleveland.
so that's barely over one full season.
I think,
and he's been here 4 years.
And I think the mental aspect is something that needs to be examined because, I mean,
there's no way we can't know what's going on for him.
Well,
but he's further removed from the crisis.
Well, what I'm saying,
typically when you get further removed from it, there's more mental clarity.
Hey, man, when you get there's 2 grand juries that is in Texas that's saying you got this about to happen, how many allegations. Do you know the level of time that's on your shoulders? Like you're
not sleeping.
You get convicted of that, bro. He ain't not worried about no money. He worried about
freedom.
I'm about to be in a penitentiary, and so that changes your whole mindset because then you go from that,
and that's all over.
And you go from that, and at the same time, you dealing with the fact that your shoulders hurt, and then you tear your Achilles, and you got to rehab. Like to me, I think one of the biggest hurdles is the time away because the rhythm of playing the game in a consistent manner, and having the speed of the game be there, and then also your mental aspect and psychologically, how do you go back to convincing yourself you're the guy? Because as a quarterback, you got to be delusional.
You know what, the odds of him physically being able, mentally being able, with playing 19 games in 5 years, I mean, it's nearly impossible to believe. But
how old is he?
20. Is he still 29?
No.
I believe he turns 30 this year. I'll confirm.
Okay, so if that's true, his age still begins with a 2.
He turns 31 this year. I apologize.
31. So he's already 30.
31.
If he's not the starter, I will say this. I think if he's not the starter, it's almost 100% guaranteed that he's the backup.
I would think he would be the backup.
Like I don't even think that they I think they didn't already told him. They said don't worry about that. Just you're the backup. I don't even think that is even a guessing game. Like I think that he will be the backup quarterback. And by the way, I do think that because they are trying to rehabilitate his career, I think he'll play a ton in the preseason as well.
I hope so. I mean, we're going to need to see what he has. And I just believe that if he comes out and he does all the things that he's supposed to do and he plays well, he doesn't have to be 2020 Deshaun Watson to win this starting job. He does not. No. And I don't think anybody would say that he does. Here's what he has to demonstrate. The ability to move like he once moved and the ability to read defenses and react with the right throws. And we won't know that until we see that. Hopefully we'll see that a lot in the preseason. But this is the Cleveland Browns. And the one thing that I learned 30 years ago, don't try writing the ending to anything Cleveland Browns related.
if they truly give him a chance to win the job, he could win it. As bad as he's played. I mean, the other 2 quarterbacks haven't done anything. So
this is going to be must.
But I don't think they're going to give him a real chance.
McNuggets, this is must see TV in training camp.
Yeah,
every camera in the world.
And there's going to be another quarterback. There's no way it's going to be the same.
So that throws everything up into the air.
Now, is it a veteran? Is it a draft pick?
Right.
I don't know, but
I tend to think it'll be more a veteran.
I think Dylan Gabriel's going to be gone.
I would look. My chances of him winning the starting job are slightly higher than yours, but not much. Like, if there's no chance of him being the starter, move him along.
Yeah, right.
Now, you're not going to get anything from him.
No.
But you got to move on from it. It wouldn't be the first time a team had done that, drafted a quarterback and released him in the next year. It's happened. It's happened multiple times.
Yeah.
So if you don't think there's a path for him to be your starting, and what's odd is on the quarterback touchdown to pick ratio, his was better than all of them. And he's the guy that we're saying has no chance, and maybe he doesn't have a chance. But if they believe that, then move on and bring competition in here. I think they're going to sign a veteran, and I think they're going to draft another one. I do.
Are you going to be 4 guys again?
No, I think 4 guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right,
ahead,
guys,
Mike.
let's get to our next topic here.
Most
Make
teams
sure
have
you guys
4
hit the
games.
like button, hit the subscribe button. But last night, the NBA All-Star Game took place. It was fun. Jay Crawford, I can't believe I'm saying this. The All-Star Game was fun last night.
Wow.
This new format, which I could barely explain to people coherently.
That was my point.
Why is it hard to explain? It's very easy.
It's very
If
straightforward.
you can't explain an All-Star Game format in one sentence,
Yes.
it's too confusing.
By the
However,
way, the only thing I'm confused by, why was Karl Anthony Towns on the world team? He was born in New Jersey.
he plays for He plays for Team Puerto Rico in the Olympics and such.
Oh, he's of Puerto Rican descent, so
yes.
they made that excuse.
Or Dominican, but he doesn't play for Team USA.
I think it's Dominican.
Plus, there's some really good international players, but the depth, that's why we've got 3 teams.
They needed a world.
And Puerto Rico's part of America, Mike. I know some people are confused.
It's Dominican Republic. I believe.
Not-
Whatever
yeah,
it is, he doesn't
a
play for Team
territory.
USA. No, Puerto Rico's in the Olympics as its own.
Yeah, they are.
They do, but it's still part of America.
I'm just saying he does not play for Team USA.
Right.
He plays on a different international team.
Okay.
Bull.
Yes.
I talked to you when we had our phone call yesterday about the All-Star game. I said, if it's interesting, I'll text y'all.
Yeah.
The first game was interesting. You said you tuned in.
Yeah.
Did this new format save the NBA's All-Star game?
It was a winner. 100%. They did a good job. People were ripping it before without even giving it. I didn't understand. We were talking about the All-Star game sucks, which it has, before, and making changes where they hadn't given it a shot. And I believe I said months ago that if they did this, it would work because the foreign players would play hard, and that would force the American players to play hard.
And you had some of them during the game said that.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And I know the final game was a blowout, unfortunately. The old guys obviously ran out of gas a little bit, which it only totaled one full game because they played four quarters. But the first three games were all great. They were all close.
All of them. I liked all
Mike
of them.
wants to go.
Yeah, can I chime in one
Absolutely.
second on this? The international versus USA thing mattered, but I think you could have scrapped that. I think this format works better because in previous All-Star games, the best part was the last 6-7 minutes when the game was close.
Yes.
Right.
Part of the issue is the first 40 minutes of the last few All-Star games were so unserious that even when you got to the final 6 minutes, one team was up 35, 40 points, and there was no need to put in the effort. When they split it into these individual 12-game segments, no team, and we saw in the last game it got a little blow, but for the most part, it's hard to blow out a team that's that talented in a 12-minute stretch. So, yeah, the first couple minutes you saw Luka and Jokic on the international team say, hey, here's my 2 minutes, and they're out.
Yeah.
Everyone else played hard enough, and you could play hard enough in 6-7 minute stretches that it made it entertaining. I don't think it was necessarily the World versus USA format that worked. I think it was these smaller, individual, shorter segments, and the fact that
I think it's both. I think it's both.
I think it's both too. We got to see a moment. You know, the end of the second game, maybe that were Fox 3-pointer.
The second game, yes. That was USA versus USA.
Yes, to me that was awesome. Because
there's a game winner in the first one too.
Yes.
Yeah, it went to overtime.
So those games were close, but here's my problem with it. It's the All-Star game, and we had 4 mini games, and there's this round robin, and then there's this and that.
But in football, they don't play a game.
Which is thankfully.
Yeah.
You know what I say? Please cancel that abomination that is the flag game too.
Yeah.
We don't need a game in football. If we want to have a game in basketball, and I think we do, and I think there is something there, eventually what they have to go to, and they will, it might take 5 years before they have a deep enough international team to make it truly worthwhile. And they also have to make the bounty big enough for them to care. And that's the real problem, Mike. Every one of those players are making $30 million a year. What are you going to offer them that's going to make them say, I'm going to go hard for 48 minutes? Like, what are you going to... Other than pride.
Yeah.
And so what I hope we get to is what we have in hockey. I want to see an international team playing their hardest against an American team. Playing their hardest for 48 minutes, one game, 2 teams, not a round robin, you're eliminated, you're in, you go on, one game, All-Star game. And I think when we get to that point, I don't give a rat's ass about bobsled. I don't care. But when I turn on the television and they say, well, this USA team, the last 3 world championships, has lost to Denmark. And now it's the Denmark sled against the U.S. sled. So all of a sudden, I'm all in.
Winner gets Greenland.
Winner gets Greenland, which was funny at the hockey game. When Denmark was up 2-0, someone was waving a Greenland flag, and that didn't work out so well for them. Team USA came storming back. But I don't care about figure skating. Yeah. I don't care about curling. But if I'm randomly flipping and it comes on and it says USA versus, I'm like, oh, this is something we can all get our minds around.
I can't sit through the figure skating, but the rest of it, I agree.
I can't either. I gasped.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I can't either.
But the rest of it, yes, I agree. But I do. I know it's. I get what you're saying, and I guess in a perfect world.
How far away are we from getting there, Mike? 5 years?
I like this.
There's more and more international talent coming in every year.
All-Star games.
I like this.
I don't know. It's Olympic Games.
Yeah. All they have to do is if they tweak a couple of things with this. To me, right now, it's nice. The reason it's good is because I'm just going to be honest with you. People who come from the world, like the world teams, these dudes is coming from
war-torn countries.
War-torn, like they go back to their crib. They go back to Europe, and it's like they still got wars going on.
Not
all of them.
Not really.
But
in the old days.
Saying and just, right?
Yeah.
But I drill down and shout out to there's two people who made this format possible. And that's Wemby, because this dude was literally upset that they were up by 2 and they had a rotation miscue and gave up a 3.
Yes.
Was completely salty.
Like it was a playoff game.
Yeah. Love it.
Also, love the fact all you got to do is change the names. It's Team USA old heads versus a Team USA young boys or young guns. And
can't say boys.
Yeah. Well, NBA young boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, it's a thing. So, and then you got Anthony Edwards, who is one of them competitive type dudes that was leading the young guys. And then you got Duran, who was talking about, man, these old dudes, right, really thinking like they carried the league and all this stuff. And they came out here with Cade Cunningham and Chet Holmgren, and they was ready to play because they was going at these old dudes like LeBron and Kevin Durant. So you get, you're part of Team USA, but the thing that really worked is the world players are automatically going to play hard against the American players because they feel like they got something to prove.
Right.
The young dudes is always going to play hard against the old heads because they feel like they don't get the same just desserts as LeBron and Steph.
Yep.
And then the old dudes is going to play hard.
They don't get embarrassed.
They don't get embarrassed. And they should be on the internet today saying, look, y'all need to get y'allself together in this offseason. Your conditioning is bad. LeBron.
You're right. We need some trash talk.
And if
there was a little bit of that going on yesterday, which was nice to see.
It was beautiful. And so Wemby obviously gets livid after the first game where they give up a 3 to Scotty Barnes, they lose. And Edwards was on the mic afterwards, and he said he's called Wemby an 8-foot alien, which was hysterical.
It was very funny.
It was very funny. And then he's like,
on the jump ball,
play that hard, we have to. And they asked Donovan Mitchell about it, and Donovan said, we were in the back, warming up while that first game was going on, so we didn't get a chance to watch it. But we passed the international team coming out of they were going into the lockers, we were coming out.
They saw their intensity.
And we saw how pissed off they were.
Yeah.
Said, okay, we got to strap them up. And to your young heads versus old heads, whatever you want to call it, it was unintentionally set like that with the rosters yesterday. They kind of did it on purpose.
But
wait, that wasn't intentional?
Because it wasn't exactly even.
But it felt very intentional to me.
I think moving forward,
this should be that.
Why don't we do this?
Because
30-plus All-Stars versus 29 down All-Stars.
The numbers may not equal out, but how about you take the
find a year, 28. Maybe
what I'm saying, find the youngest American All-Stars and the oldest in terms of service time. Not even age, just service time. And you draw the line in the middle, and if you're above the median,
you go to the old heads
team, and if you're under, you're on the young.
And we'll find out, is it legs or is it experience?
It would add another level of intensity because the young guns are proving, hey, it's our league now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
The old heads wouldn't want to.
Well, even LeBron in the interview afterwards, he said old heads are 1-0.
Exactly.
Like they care.
But not in the finals. They got their ass
kicked.
kicked.
They got smoked.
But it's the first time we're talking about the NBA All-Star Game in a positive fashion in a long time.
Yeah.
The Saturday is still. I didn't watch it.
I haven't watched it in 10 years. I can't watch it.
McNuggets, let me just tell you something. First of all, this is the most gross, nasty thing I've ever heard. Allegedly, when I was watching the dunk contest and I was watching people do Southeast Community Center, J. Babe Stern, American Legion dunks, these are American Legion dunks, bro. This is the Shriner Circus dunks where you come in. This is Make-A-Wish Foundation dunks, bro. This is charity. These are regular dunks.
Yeah, I don't know.
Guys are just going up doing. I seen what was the kid for the Lakers doing?
It was an embarrassment.
To that point, like I think in human history, you reach a point where you've seen. There's never before done. I was watching snowboarding, and they go, the great thing about this sport is every year the bar keeps going up and up and up. Somebody did 5 twists. I think it's a 1240 or something. There's only so many ways you can dunk a basketball.
So I was watching, and Matt McClung, right? He did 4 dunks that he was going to do at the dunk contest. And I said, well, you're the 3-time champion. Why aren't you there? You won. And then it comes out that none of the NBA players said that they would do it if he was still in it because it was unfair.
Are you kidding me?
Once the stars...
They said if he's in it, we don't have a chance to win.
Wait, is that true or was a rumor?
Is that true, Mike? You know?
It was a rumor that some other
Shame
guys
on them
backed
if that
out
was the
of
case.
That's ridiculous.
Mac said he did not want to do it, though.
I know he didn't want to do it.
But
Mac said he did because, and like I said, I've known Mac since he was 14, 15. I met him as a sophomore in high school.
Yeah.
Still a freak, and he would have won if he was in it.
Well, he's gone through stages. He wants to be an NBA player. He does not want to be known as.
But Mike, nobody wants.
He was a freak show before.
We want to see superstars in the dunk contest.
Well, otherwise
nobody's going to watch.
The 4 dunks that he did would have won the contest immediately.
Easy.
The 4 dunks he did on YouTube.
I saw the final dunk. I didn't watch it at all, but I saw in the highlights the final
you know
dunk
what's
by the guy
tricky
who
about
won,
this, guys?
and it was lame.
We're kind of proving it right here.
Yeah.
You'll know this. The best dunkers in the world
are not NBA players.
Are not NBA players.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what you do?
On that circuit, in that world,
the professional dunk circuit.
those guys make NBA players look like they're dunking with the other hand.
There's a professional dunk circuit?
Yes.
There is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And these guys are freak shows.
All they do is dunk?
Yes.
Yes.
They
They
people
don't
pay
play
to watch
just
this?
dunkers.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's
I've always
it. They're
said-
YouTube sensations. People can't get enough of it. So, like,
What they should do,
So
Jay,
bring
is
those guys in.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
and have
ahead.
them team up with an
And you know
NBA
what? Have
all-star.
current NBA players judge them.
Well, or have them team up. So, like, you have Donovan, you have Jaylen Brown, you have Cade Cunningham, and you have Jalen Brunson.
And they each get.
They each get to pick their professional.
Oh, okay, that
dunk.
would be
it's-
interesting.
Did you guys ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yes.
I have
It's,
not.
it's trial by combat. It's dunk by combat.
Sir,
Basically. You pick your guy. You're
Oh, that's
representing
kind of
me.
interesting.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I want Sir Gregor.
and the three-point contest stinks because when it started, threes weren't a huge part of the game.
No, they weren't.
And so seeing Larry Bird,
What did Mark
seeing
Price
Reggie
take, like,
Miller,
4 a game?
Mark Price, like, it was exciting to see that because you never saw them shoot a million.
Right.
Now,
They
all
all
they
can
do
hit
is
'em.
shoot threes,
Yeah.
so it's boring.
Yeah,
No,
it is.
here's what you should do. Here's how you change it up. You should have the big man 3-point shooting contest.
But there's so many good 3-point.
But now, even
What about half-court shots? Or shoot shots from the opposing free throw line, the opposite free throw line.
Here's what I would do. Here's what I would do.
Yeah.
Is I would I would go back to what they did with Steph Curry. I would have one NBA. I would have one NBA,
the WNBA and the NBA.
and
Yeah.
you would have to go head to head against somebody from the WNBA.
NBA guys wouldn't do it.
No,
Tell
because
me.
They're gutless.
well, women.
What?
NBA guys wouldn't do it, G.
Why?
Well,
Because I'm telling you,
If they
and
lose, it's embarrassing.
If they lose, it's embarrassing, and that's why I give Steph so much credit because he was like,
Steph's a
let's
man of
do
the
it, let's
people.
bring it
He's a
on.
good
and
man.
I've talked about this on the show before, but I had some anatomical expert tell me that the female body is way more built to shoot a basketball than the male body.
if you
Wider shoulders, more room for air, bigger muscles. Women are better equipped to shoot a three-pointer. If they get to shoot with their ball, and you know they would,
yes,
that's a huge advantage.
They are getting their line. They're going to get their ball.
Yeah.
It's going to be on one side of the court while you going on the other side of the court. I'm going to split screen, and Caitlin Clark is going to be first up against whoever you got. Yeah. And guess what?
But the guys are too.
Everybody would watch it.
Yeah, but the guys are too.
Yeah, I agree with all that. The guys would be terrified
By the way,
of losing.
can I get 60 seconds here, Mike, to
Sure.
rant
It's all you.
about something that nobody else will care about, even though it's
Is it
basketball?
All-Star game related?
No, it's basketball related, but not
Can I
All-Star
get
game.
one more All-Star game thought? Then
Go
we'll
ahead.
let you rant because then
Yeah.
we'll close and we'll move on to the Browns and then the Guardians.
Yeah.
2 things, G. On the Saturday events, I think if you polled 100 people, 100 random people, and said, what's the one event you would want to see on an All-Star Day Saturday, not the game, but the event, it'd be a Steph Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu or a Caitlin Clark versus Damian Lillard, some kind of three-point. I think that would be the number one draw, and I think the NBA guys wouldn't do it. And second of all, I heard someone, I think it was Zach Lowe who said this, what the NBA should do is force rookies and sophomores to have to participate in a dunk contest. Like, after your second year, you have a choice, but they could pick the best athletes in the rookie and sophomore class, and you are forced to participate in the dunk contest.
Forced.
As part of, like, the...
You will get out there.
But it's a chance to put those guys, the biggest stars as rookies and sophomores, on the national... Like, VJ Edgecombe, for example. Crazy athlete in Philadelphia, having a great rookie season. I don't know if he's a national commodity yet. He goes out there and does some of the things that he could do in a dunk contest, which he was invited to and declined. His popularity rises.
Yeah, that's
so
all.
So on.
It's lame that they decline now.
And my thing is,
lame. LeBron's never entered.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I would also, I think this would be more interesting. because I keep going back to the Team USA practices where these guys go 1v1 with 3 dribble max, and if you make it, you stay on the court. I would love to see Kevin Durant versus give me Durant versus LeBron 1-on-1 3 dribbles. Give me Wemby, just different things to get the competitive nature up, because it's just you and him on the court, and you get the king of the hill. But I do believe that McNuggets, the thing about people not being in these dunk contests is crazy to me, because some of the greatest jumpers and leapers of all time, you go back and watch LeBron James, Zion Williamson, who's doing all these dunks in the game. You got all of these high-flying dudes, and then they're like, nah, I'm not going to be in a dunk contest. No, bro. The reason why you are here where you are today is because all the best people, Dr. J, Michael Jordan, Vince Carter, Dominique Wilkins, all of those big primetime names, they participated. So unless that's why
guys don't need it now, so they don't care.
But the respect factor, that's why people say you guys always disrespecting our era compared to the old heads. The reason y'all give up people and y'all let people get to y'all is because you give them a reason to. All the old heads is nah. I saw Jordan and Dominique go head to head.
Right.
I saw them miss no games for 86 games.
For all this talk, not that it's a definitive answer, it's the only scoreboard that we have, and that's ratings. And this is disappointing because I was anticipating a big jump in ratings just because it was back on free TV. It was on network TV. But the decline in popularity continues. The All-Star Game at its peak, which was 2020, had 7.3 million viewers.
That was its peak?
Peak.
Wow.
Yeah, surprising to me too. 4.7 million.
Wow.
That's not good.
What was it last year? Is it up from last year or no?
Down slightly from last year.
Let me just rant again. 60 seconds. Something I watched Saturday.
Actually, last year was. I'm sorry.
No,
last year was 4.72 million.
Okay.
This year was 4.6.
Oh, okay.
So it was down
a little bit.
Yeah, down a little bit.
Saturday, I was watching, probably the only person in Northeast Ohio watching St. John's play Providence. I don't know if you guys heard about what happened in this
big
game.
fight, right?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, this was one of the lowest, Mike, as a player, did you see what happened?
Oh, so dirty. So dirty.
Now I can't think of the player's name on Providence.
Hopkins.
Bryce Hopkins. First of all, who taught this guy how to cut his hair? Have you seen what this guy looks like?
No, but I like what you said. Cut his hair.
His hair. He's bald except right here in the back of his head. He's got hair here.
That's a tail.
It's not. It's the weirdest looking hair I've ever seen. I haven't seen anybody like it. This clown. So they don't like. So there's a player on St. John's named Bryce Hopkins. The Providence fans don't like him because he was on Providence last year and he transferred to St. John's.
So there was already a lot of animosity.
There's already bad blood.
Okay.
And so the crowd is fired up. They boo him, which is fine.
Sure.
Boo him every time. Who cares?
Yeah, that's the way it used to be in the good old days of the Big East.
No problem with it. You know me. I got no problem with physical play, battling underneath. They were letting him go.
But cheap shots,
no. He's running to the basket. As he starts to jump, this guy pushes him in the back. Ooh. Now, and he fell. He didn't get hurt, fortunately. And it started a brawl. Like, guys were throwing punches.
Sure.
And then he's standing on the sideline trying to egg on the crowd. Meanwhile, this cop...
Wait, the guy that got pushed or the guy that pushed?
The guy that did the push, because it was at Providence.
Well, he got ejected, I would hope.
He got ejected, but for a while they were figuring out the other to eject, he was standing there like egging on the crowd. Meanwhile, there's cops all over the place trying to calm everybody down, and this guy's making it worse. And then later, another player on Providence took a cheap shot at Ejiofor, UB Ejiofor. I keep screwing up his name, Mike. Zuby. Why am I screwing up his name? It's ridiculous. The cheap shot on him. So it was just despicable basketball by Providence. And I wonder if their coach is going to get fired after that embarrassing display. They've had a terrible season. Anyway, I know nobody cares, but it's good.
That's crazy. I'm looking
unfortunately,
it was a super dirty foul.
College basketball has been taken completely out of my universe until late February. Right. I'll watch conference championships.
Well, Miami of Ohio's undefeated.
I know they are. What, 26-0 or something?
Crazy.
It's insane. And they're still only ranked like 23rd.
Well, because I think they've only played one top 100 team.
Yeah.
They haven't played a top 140 team yet.
Oh, none? I thought there was one, Mike.
Well, they'll play one before the end of the season.
Oh, that's it.
But
that's
all right,
awful.
guys, let's get to our next topic here. If you want more Cavs talk, Jason and I are going to do an Ultimate Cavs show this week before the Cavs are back in action. They start the unofficial second half of the season on Thursday at home against the Brooklyn Nets. But Jason and I will have an Ultimate Cavs show.
Jason doesn't make that
getting
face
ready
on
for
the
you
podcast.
guys, getting ready for that game in the next couple of days. On Friday, G and Bull were both here. We talked about the potential expansion in the NBA, and if there was an expansion draft, which 8 players would the Cavaliers protect so other teams couldn't take them? And it was a hit. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people reached out, said, hey, great topic. I said, okay, thanks. Let's do it for the Browns. Now, we didn't know. I called Bull. Yes, this is where our phone call started. What was the proper number of players to protect?
We had to make it a low number because the Browns don't have a lot of great players.
Listen, we made it a low number, and I had a real hard time with the last player.
Exactly. So we ended up
7. I got to 7 pretty easily.
I had 6 easy.
But when you hear my 8th, you're going to be like, wow.
So let me ask the question, and
Okay.
then let's make our expansion number. The number's 8. We get to protect 8 players on the Browns in case of expansion, where everyone else would be put in a pool, and other teams could, in theory, pick them up. It doesn't mean
what was the number, by the way, for the last expansion draft? What was that number?
I don't even know.
Because they went too far, and Jacksonville and Carolina, when they came in, within 3 years, were playing in the conference championship game.
Yeah.
And the rest of the league was going, you rated our rosters.
Right.
You made us leave too many players unprotected.
Right.
So when the Browns came in 99, the pendulum swung way too far the other way, and we were getting guys that shouldn't have been on NFL teams.
Right.
So I don't know what that number was. Was it 45?
According to a quick search, and once again,
I feel like it was 45.
ESPN in a 2020 article did it off a 10-person thing, but that was based off an exercise they were doing. 24 is the number it looks like that they were able to protect.
24? That
Once
seems low.
again, that's a
It
very
does. It
quick
seems
Google
low to me,
search
too.
as I'm looking. I'll
I thought
dive
it was
into it.
45.
But for this, we're only doing 8.
We're doing 8. So
Yeah.
which 8 players on the Cleveland Browns right now, so pending free agents like Devin Bush, for example, not eligible. He's not currently under contract.
Yeah.
Wyatt Teller, Batonio, those guys not under contract.
Rostered guys that are
rostered
protected.
guys. Which 8 are you protecting?
You want me to go first?
Go ahead, Jay.
Let's start with the guaranteed locks.
Well, Myles, Denzel. I think
Mason Graham.
Mason was on mine. Was he on yours?
Yeah.
To me, there's
Okay,
6
so that's
locks.
3.
To me, there's 6 locks.
Okay.
Mason Graham, Myles, Denzel Ward, Schlesinger, Fannin, and Judkins. There you go.
Okay, that's my first 6.
Right. That's easy.
That's my first 6.
Gee, any disagreement with the first 6? Because it sounds like we're all in agreement on the first 6.
No.
So I had 5 and 6 were different. I had Graham as 7, and I'll probably get beat up for this. I had Judkins at 6.
This isn't
Wait,
an
but
order.
Judkins
This
is on
this
there,
is
so
just-
you had somebody.
Oh, wait. Okay, yeah. Okay, I've got Myles, Denzel, Fannin, Schlesinger. Is Delpit's under?
No, he was not in our top
Delpit
6.
was not-
Okay, I have Delpit in my
You have
top
him
6.
in the top 6.
I thought he had a great year last year.
Yeah, but Graham's younger, and I'd
He
protect
is.
Graham before Delpit.
And then I had Judkins, but for my 8th, I had JOK. And it was either JOK or Bajorquez.
What? How many is on that? Was on
That
that
was
list?
6.
6. So it was 6.
So you get to 2 more besides these, G. 2 more besides these.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Jay chose Delpit and Bjorquez.
No,
No,
JOK.
Delpit,
I had
JOK.
JOK, but for me, my 8th slot was between JOK or Bajorquez.
I'm
The
assuming
only reason I went
JOK's
with
never going to
Bajorquez
play
is-
again.
Hey, bro.
Well, see, I'm afraid of that,
Yeah.
Bull, but my God, if he does, he was so good when we last saw him. He's in our top 8 if he's healthy.
Actually, be truthful, I don't even know why you all even asked me this. I only got 9 slots. You already know who getting one of the slots, bro.
8. You only got 2 slots.
No. You should have said, hey, we got 10 people.
You're not putting Shedeur Sanders on that list.
Oh, yes, I am.
Oh, come on.
He's going on there.
Gee, come on.
He's my starting quarterback. If I don't pick him,
It's your list.
If I don't pick, watch this. So if I don't pick him and protect him, that means I end up with either Dylan Gabriel or Deshaun Watson as a starter.
Well, no, because there's other players available. We're going to bring in another guy.
I'm only going. No, I'm saying. So say for instance, we doing this exercise, right? You say we need somebody to protect, right? So if I say, all right, I think Shedeur Sanders is the best option for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, it's your list. It's your list.
And if he gets taken, now I have to go out and I got to find another quarterback.
Yeah, but typically the way you should do this is the way teams did it in '99 and when the Panthers and the Jags came in. and I know this sounds like it's counterintuitive, but it's not. You're picking which of these players are at the best in the league at their positions. That's why Bojorquez would make my list.
Would Shedeur get selected in an expansion draft?
No, I wouldn't be worried about losing him.
Oh, I would. What? If it's between losing the punter or Shedeur Sanders,
the punter is a top 5 punter in the NFL. Shedeur is not a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
If he is, that's like, so if you think about it, if out of all of the quarterbacks, if it was an expansion draft today, how many teams would say that their starting quarterback would not be protected? There'd be none.
There'd be a couple.
No, there definitely would be some.
There'd be a couple.
The Jets would not protect the quarterback.
Okay, so the Jets.
The Dolphins,
I don't know if the Browns would.
The Cardinals.
The Dolphins wouldn't. The Cardinals wouldn't.
The Raiders.
Geno would be in there for sure.
Yeah.
He would be protected.
But Mendoza is their quarterback.
Well, not yet.
I mean, that's a foregone.
I'm saying the Browns are going to
some of
draft
those
one
guys
too, so you
wouldn't
can't
be
say the
selected.
Raiders aren't.
Nobody's taking Tua because you've got to take his contract.
No, and that's the thing.
Right.
Like, look, it's your list. You can take him if you want.
So
he's just not on my he's a top 8 player on the Cleveland Browns. Like, I can't get this.
No, I don't think. Are you saying he's a top 8 player, or you keep him because he's a quarterback?
I keep keeping him because he's the quarterback.
Yeah, he's obviously not a top 8 player on the Browns.
So what you're saying then is there is such an ocean of difference between Shedeur and anybody else on their roster that you cannot afford to lose them.
I think the only argument for keeping Shedeur, because when Mike and I talked about this last night, I said, "Oh, I know G's going to keep Shedeur."
Of course,
and I'll be honest. The first thing I said to Mike was, "That's crazy. We wouldn't keep Shedeur."
Yeah,
and then I thought about it today,
it is crazy.
And I left the possibility open that I would keep him, and here's why. After I would Delpit was my 7th guy, right?
I got Delpit, and
after those 7, there's nobody that's any good. Yeah, the punter's good and the kicker's good. I can find a punter.
I mean, you have to be intrigued by JOK.
No, but nobody would take him because he's been hurt for 2 years.
We think that I still think he's done.
He has a neck injury.
Yeah, I know, and
if you ask me, is Shedeur Sanders going to be a good starting quarterback in the NFL? I would say the odds are he's not. In my opinion.
Yeah.
I think but I don't think it's not possible. And so, because the Browns don't, like, Deshaun Watson to me is shot.
Okay,
Dylan Gabriel stinks.
Let me ask you it this way.
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy is not coming off a great season.
No. Nobody would take him, so you'd leave him out there.
Well, based on what we've seen in the NFL.
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy is only 1 year removed from having a really good season.
Exercises not take the 8 best players. If Mike asked who are the 8, if Mike asked who are the 30 best players in the Browns, I probably still wouldn't have Shedeur on the list.
Okay, but I would give you that, yes, you're going to protect your quarterback.
Yeah.
Yes.
If there's a huge ocean between your first quarterback and your second, there isn't on this team.
But my argument argument for Shedeur is, even if I think there's a 25% chance he's going to be a good starting quarterback, and that's probably where I'm at, 25 to 35% chance, which is low.
Very low.
But I'd rather keep him with that chance than keep the punter.
Or
the punter.
Well, yeah, but if you're hell-bent on taking a quarterback,
right?
What I'm saying is, I don't see the world where he's penned in as the starter next year.
Of course not.
He's not penned in.
I agree.
And so what you're saying is, we don't have a difference maker. If we did, he'd be penned in at starter. There are 20 teams in the NFL that have their starter penned in.
More than that.
Tattooed in. Probably 24.
Yeah. So, but
there are 8 teams that are like, I don't know. If you were casting bets on the 32 teams and how likely you're certain who their starting quarterback is next year, we're in the bottom 5.
Easily.
Okay, so with that being said, if you're of the mindset that a quarterback must be protected,
I'm not.
And I'll tell you why I'm not.
Yeah.
Because there's not that big a difference between the 3.
Right.
And if there's not.
Right now there isn't.
But hold on.
I'm leaving open the possibility, and because there's not an 8th player that's that good anyway, I would keep him.
So you would keep him on your 8.
But we just talked about.
I think I would.
Last segment.
I know.
My God.
Last segment, we just talked about what is the % chance that Deshaun Watson ever gets remotely close to what he was. We said 0.2, we said 10% and 5%. So that automatically denotes that you don't have that level of confidence.
You raised yours, didn't you?
I mean, it's
1%.
Yeah.
No. 50. I was in 50.
And then
I thought you were at 15 too.
19.
Okay, so if you're at 19% with Deshaun.
It's all about. It's not about who's better right now.
We also said.
Go ahead.
We also said in that conversation, none of us have any hope that Dillon Gabriel is the starter. So that's down to 0% chance. So the rationale is we've already given the percentages. And we get to this segment, and now we're saying, okay, well, it's not the big of a difference. Yes, there is a big of a difference. Nobody thinks Dillon Gabriel.
There is for you.
No.
For you.
Like the head coach is saying there's not that big a difference. But the head coach would say, I got my guy.
But what, zero? So
I don't think they're right now. Me keeping Shedeur, and I do it begrudgingly because I don't really think he belongs as a keeper in this case. But
if that's your keeper, and that's your keeper,
but here's the thing. It's irrelevant who the starter is right now. That's irrelevant because none of them.
Which is why I'm not going to make him.
At this moment, none of them are any good. But I think there's a possibility that Shedeur Sanders can be a good quarterback in the league. And so I'd rather keep him as the 8th guy with that possibility than the 5th best punter in the league or whatever, because those are much more easily replaceable.
We just said it again.
I know
I'm hearing your argument.
I get why you're perplexed. I understand.
But why?
Perplexed. Not at G.
Why would we be perplexed when Jay, you just said in the last segment that I'm not going to rule out anything?
Yes.
I just saw Sam Darnold win the Super Bowl.
But now I got to hedge bets. Well, no, that's what it is. You're telling me I got to pick 8. So listen, everything is an educated guess, right?
Right?
Yeah.
But here's what we have to do for this exercise.
Yeah.
We got to pick 8 guys that are going to make the Browns the best team they can be next year.
What's the most important
He's
position?
not my 8.
I'm not looking at that. I'm not looking at it. If the exercise was who's going to make them the best team next year, then I wouldn't protect Shedeur Sanders.
Well,
but that's not how I'm looking at it.
Look, it's for next year.
But just like you told him, well, for you it's this, for you it's that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I guess you could read it however you want. But if you're going to keep 8 players,
right? Well,
you're going to be really because you got 53 of these things to fill.
Well, you're not losing all the rest of the guys.
No, but are we making hedge bets on which ones would be taken?
That's part of it.
Okay, so 24 teams, maybe more, have their starting quarterback penned in.
I agree.
So in the pool of quarterbacks that are out there, Shedeur's going to be taken by someone else?
I'm sitting there telling you.
I think there's a chance.
I just don't see it.
I think there's a chance. Because no good quarterbacks are going to be left out. So you're going to have to take a bad quarterback.
No, but again, in team building, and it's a team building exercise,
right?
There are multiple ways to fill your roster. When the Browns had the expansion draft, they also had the regular draft.
Right.
And they also had free agency.
That's true.
And so there's more than, you can protect the players you have, or you can acquire new players through 2 different methods, free agency or draft. So, yes, it'd be nice if you thought you had a guy on the roster that was the future starting quarterback of the football team.
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
I agree, Jay.
So ultimately
for me, after the top 7 guys, so like I said, Grant Delpit was my 7th guy.
Yeah.
After him, I don't think there's anybody else on this team that's that good I can't let him go.
Right.
That I'd rather have. Okay, Bjorquez is top 5 punter, right? That was going to be your guy.
Yeah, and also, by the way, when you're an offensive challenge team, let's not poo-poo the role of the punter.
Okay.
You're flipping fields.
But let me ask you this. If you knew there was a 25% chance Shedeur Sanders was going to be a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you rather keep that than a good punter?
No, because of course, in 3 of the 4 scenarios, he's not any good. And by the way, that's your percentage.
I agree.
My percentage is less than that.
That's fair.
So that's why I make that decision.
If you think there's, what's your percentage?
15.
All right. Maybe
now I'm 1 in 6.
I hear you. I just think I can replace the punter easily.
It's a punter.
But here's the other thing.
I could probably
on the quarterbacks. There are ways to find quarterbacks.
Okay, so
I'm going to find a quarterback.
So here's the thing.
They haven't been able to.
So here's the thing. You say I'm going to find one.
And Shedeur's not.
You're
right.
So
they haven't been able to.
We'll get this. So if you say
I'm
going to go out and get another quarterback, most people will then say the quarterback that's most available is what? Malik Willis, right?
No.
Are you talking about real free agency?
I'm talking about if say we plan an exercise.
Yeah.
The exercise is we'll let Shedeur roll.
Kirk Cousins is available. I could draft a quarterback.
Why would I go get Kirk Cousins?
For next year, who's going to give you the best chance to win the most games next year?
You mean the old Kirk Cousins with the Achilles?
The Kirk Cousins that I've last saw. The Kirk Cousins that came back and replaced the starter and tied for the division
Well, you're talking
lead.
about two different things here. You're talking about
not really, because he's talking about if you're going to you have to look at the replacement pool too.
I agree. But you're talking long term. I wouldn't want Kirk Cousins.
No,
what's the point?
I wouldn't either. But guess what?
But if you're asking me who gives me the better chance to win more games next year, there's 10 guys out there better than Shedeur Sanders, at least.
At least.
I mean,
for next year.
So we talking. So if we could get, we could go down the list of the 10. We can get to Malik Willis, who played 6 games, and they're gonna give him $30 million.
Malik Willis is not on my list.
He's not on my list.
10's probably too strong.
Mark,
5.
Malik Willis is not on my list.
Half the dudes we already had. We already had Jameis Winston.
I would take Jameis Winston over Shedeur Sanders.
But,
I would take Jameis
but here's the thing. But here's the thing.
1 year.
Kyler Murray.
No, we
yes,
can,
1 year.
When we roll
Kirk
it back,
Cousins? Yes.
we all sat on this panel and be like, "This is why we cannot pay Jameis Winston because he threw 6 picks in the game."
You guys wanted to pay Jameis.
I'm just saying.
I wanted Jameis Winston.
I'm just saying. These are backups.
But guys, what does Jameis do that we don't like?
Throw picks.
So does Shedeur Sanders.
How much of a sample size do you have of Jameis Winston
I don't
throwing
care.
picks?
I don't care because guess what? It's enough. It's more sample size than the guy we've given up on.
So
we've given up on Dylan Gabriel. His 7-2 ratio is the best on the team.
But when you talk about,
he can't do it.
No, why? Here's why you can't do it, because you go into the film work and you look at it and you see exactly why he can't do it. It's the arm talent.
But see, I see that in Deshaun in Shedeur. I see that.
Well, when you go to the film work, there's the level of Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel is not even close. As a matter of fact,
yeah, statistically, you're right. They both threw 7 touchdowns, 1 through 10, 6, 1 through 2.
Physically, not close. Actually, people got so mad that the Browns was telling that Dylan Gabriel was great, and they turned out that he was that bad. They was like, I can't believe they told him he was that good.
You're saying he turned out that bad. How did Shedeur Sanders turn out any better? He had a bigger sample size and threw 5 times the interceptions.
I also say that Shedeur Sanders put up more yards than this dude did basically in one game.
Wait. Run that back.
Shedeur Sanders threw for 365 yards in the game.
Okay, not a game.
In a game.
Once.
In a game.
Okay, now we also threw for 120.
And Dylan Gabriel did as well.
Okay.
We all know. The thing is, everybody knows, and we don't have to pretend that Dylan is good. We already know this.
But we're going to pretend Shedeur's good.
No.
No. If we're going to pretend.
But we're not pretending. I'm telling you.
7 to 10.
How many people, I ask you the question, how many people is Joe Burrow, so we can just say it, a person who comes in and throws for 365 games without no reps, that is a lottery ticket.
Wait a minute.
365, no reps.
Hold on.
Right?
Now, wait a minute. This no reps thing is so dumb.
Why is it? Go ahead.
What game was that he threw for 365?
He threw for 365.
First game?
No, it was his third game.
Okay, so no reps?
Prior to that.
Prior to that. All the reps.
But here's what I'm saying to you.
So
Dylan Gabriel.
That narrative is so old and tired.
No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
No, it is not. Let me tell you why it ain't. Dylan Gabriel, since the day he was here, received first-team reps throughout training camp, throughout OTAs, all the way when he was starting, even when he was the backup.
I don't care.
So, okay.
But nobody's defending him.
Nobody's defending him right now. No.
You're making the argument that Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel are the same talent level.
We're both cherry-picking. You're cherry-picking
that's
saying
true.
We're cherry-picking.
You're
You're
both
saying
doing it, yes.
He threw for 365 yards, no reps. Not true. He threw for 365, one game.
Okay. By the way,
as a third NFL game,
as a fifth-round pick,
and for the 3 weeks leading up to that, he got all the reps.
As a fifth-round pick, has anybody in the history of the league done that?
No, and guess what? That doesn't impress me.
Why not?
Because it doesn't impress me that
it's 100.
That's disingenuous. That's
it is disingenuous. It's cherry picking. It's cherry picking.
So you don't like the fact that he threw for 400 yards?
I love the fact that he threw for 400. It wasn't 400.
Who else did it?
I don't care about that. You're talking about that's like
random.
What rookie in baseball hit a 475-foot home run?
But you care about
matter?
But you care about the interceptions, though.
Yes, I do, and here's why.
Okay.
Interceptions, because I asked you, well, what do you not like that Jameis Winston does? Well, he throws interceptions. To me, interceptions are death.
Okay.
They're deaf.
So why do you continue to want Jameis Winston if they're deaf and you saw him throw picks here?
Because with Jameis Winston, the upside is higher.
How do you know?
Jameis Winston threw for 500. How many people did that?
How many? You look at it. How is his upside higher when Shedeur Sanders only played 7 games?
Listen, I won't even argue that his upside's higher. Everybody that watches football, everybody that watches football knows it is.
No. When you talk about upside, Jameis Winston is a complete prospect. You know who Jameis Winston is.
Yes, I do.
What is the upside?
The upside is he's going to give you 350 passing yards a game. I'll take that. Not once. But he's going to do it week in, week out.
Watch this. So how good is it?
But he's going to throw interceptions, so I can't have that.
So if you tell me I could get a guy and started 6 games or 7 games, and one of those 7 he threw for 300, that's 1 out of 7.
What was the outcome in that game? What was the outcome in that game?
They lost the game
to a 1-win team.
Let me talk about this.
We talked earlier in the show about all of Deshaun Watson's crazy numbers in 2020. There's one big stat I care about. Are you winning?
Yeah,
so, don't save him.
Go ahead.
He's not saving anybody. I don't need saved.
When they went and won against the Pittsburgh Steelers and they won against the Cincinnati Bengals, all I heard was the numbers.
Now,
but the wins don't count, no.
Same thing with the Bengals. Not a playoff team. Steelers made the playoffs because Baltimore's kicker missed a field goal.
I can't help
that. These aren't juggernaut teams.
But you just said brought up the Titans. But I give him credit for the win. I'm going to absolutely give him credit for those wins.
Okay. 100%. He won those games.
Yeah.
In one of them, he had a late. It was only 35 yards, but
judging by win-loss record is silly.
No, it is, but to me, it's part of my equation. But to me, though, it is part of my equation.
But you just told me that the Titans game, he didn't win that game.
He didn't.
Okay, so
I'm not making that up.
So I'm just saying. So either we're gonna count the wins and count the losses, or we can't just cherry pick and say he lost that game.
Well,
by the way,
no, but you're both cherry picking.
We are. But I'm admitting I'm cherry picking.
By the way, also the game that they lost, the head coach took him off the field after he led him to a game-winning drive and to take him out to run a wildcat.
Guess where he is right now?
Fired.
Yes.
There you go.
So, okay. The point of this whole discussion was you believe enough in Shedeur Sanders to think that he is your franchise quarterback for 5 years moving forward.
Here's what
I can't get there. I just can't get there. If I had one of those guys, I'm protecting him.
Here's what I'm saying.
If I don't, I'm rolling the dice.
Here's what I'm saying. I'm telling everybody that there is no definitive answer that you can answer that with a 7-game sample size playing on a bad roster.
But you are saying definitively you can't.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you took
him. What did I say?
You took him.
No, but that's not the argument. I took him, and I don't believe that. But you've said it many times.
Well, look, this is the conversation.
You're taking it personally right now.
Why am I taking it personally?
You're taking it personally. When anybody criticizes.
Why are you telling me
That's how it seems that you're taking it personally.
Seems and perceptions is 2 different things.
Okay. No, they're the same thing.
You're saying you're not taking it personally?
No, seems and perception. Perception and reality are 2 different things.
Why would I take it personally when you look at it and I'm saying, guys, it's absurd to say I'm going to protect a punter? You guys told me you should never even draft a kicker.
And that's why I would keep
punter. Watch, hold on.
I didn't say keep the kicker.
You
I said keep the punter.
Marquez. A punter.
I didn't. For the record, I didn't.
A punter.
I did not keep Marquez.
A punter is lower than a kicker.
But I can tell you this.
So I'm not in this exercise. Nobody in their right mind would say, at this point, we can all say it. The Cleveland Browns, they have him on the roster. By all intents and purposes, they're planning on playing him and giving him a chance to start.
Well, they have Deshaun Watson on the roster. They have Dylan Gabriel on the roster.
Here's the thing. We all understand that you may not believe that Shedeur Sanders is going to be a franchise quarterback. We get that.
I don't.
But the reality of the situation is you cannot sit here and tell me in the 7-game sample size that Shedeur Sanders did not show traits, throws, ability to be a quarterback that could be a productive quarterback in this league. And when we keeping people and we trying to tell you who's going to be in and who's out, it's crazy to say, I'm going to take a punter. That's ridiculous. You can find a punter off the street.
I'd take a safety. I'd take a corner.
That's
I'd
why
take a defensive lineman.
And
I've got guys on my team that I know what they are. I know what they are. And again, because it's, I said, educated guess, we're looking at these guys saying, who of these guys do we know what they are?
Quarterback skews the numbers.
Yeah, it does. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
If I looked at Shedeur Sanders and said, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a guy, then yeah, I'm going to keep him. But here's what I'm saying, and I think you said it too. 75%. You said 85% chance that he is the franchise guy.
I did not say 85% he's
I thought, because remember we got to 1-6.
Right, that was you who said 85%.
No, you initially said I'm giving them a 25% chance, and then I thought you said, maybe a 15%.
Well,
you said 50.
Well, that's your opinion.
So if we're both at 25%, I've got guys on my team at important positions.
What, safety?
That I know what they are. I have no idea what Shedeur Sanders is.
Right.
But if I had to lean, the 7 to 10 is so egregious to me.
Why ultimately would you keep a punter over a chance quarterback?
I didn't keep a punter.
Or an injured
safety.
I considered keeping a punter.
Right,
and again, because I'm looking at guys that are top 5 at their positions. Because those one way or another
don't matter if you don't have the quarterback.
Yeah, but go ask.
Would the Seahawks have won the Super Bowl if Geno Smith had still been their quarterback?
No, clearly not. But they didn't win the Super Bowl because of their quarterback.
And I think disingenuous. I think.
No, it's not.
They wouldn't have gotten there without him.
I don't care about that. What I'm saying is, when you look
at one game, Jay.
Yes, but it's the game.
You wouldn't have gotten there, so it's irrelevant whether they would have.
New England got there, and they didn't win, and their quarterback played for ass too.
Yes.
But Seattle had a better defense and a better run game, and they won. It goes back to really the point I made at the beginning of the show.
You don't get there without the good quarterback.
The old NFL days of, if you don't have one of these guys, you can't win a Super Bowl.
It's still that way.
I believe. I don't think it is.
The only thing is maybe the line has lowered where that number is.
And I would agree with that.
I'll give you that.
And
but it's
because
still,
of that,
you can't have the days that. I don't know if you think we're back to the days of Trent Dilfer winning a Super Bowl. That ain't happening.
No, I don't think we're there.
No.
I think that, or even Brad Johnson.
I'd say you now need a good quarterback, not a great quarterback.
Yes.
To win the Super Bowl.
Listen, we're a lot more synced up than I thought.
And so ultimately, if I think there's a chance that Shedeur Sanders can be a good quarterback, even if I would lean the other way,
sure.
If I think there's a chance, and I do think there's a chance,
I think there's a chance.
Then I
just don't think it's very good.
Then I would rather keep him, even if I don't think the chance is high, than a punter or another safety.
Now again, when you're trying to pick the players that are best at their position,
right? But that's not the assignment.
No, it's not the assignment, but. Yeah. What it does is you're willing to let go a top 5 player at their position.
Well, but who am I willing to let go?
To keep a guy that you think is a 25%
Who's the top 5 player?
I don't know.
Who's the top 5 guy?
Borges is a top 5 punter.
But he's a punter.
He's a punter.
Yeah, no, but we always say, but he's a punter. But what team this year had the worst special teams in football? Because it is a 3-phase game.
The Rams?
Technically, the Rams had the worst,
Yeah.
Okay. And they were one win away from a Super Bowl.
But they didn't win the Super Bowl.
So my thing, but the reality,
you got to have a complete team.
Bro, come on.
You got to be complete team. And when your offense sucks, and let's face it, does our offense suck? Does our offense suck?
You are advocating keeping a punter over a quarterback.
Does our offense suck?
The offense is not good.
Okay,
the offense sucks,
and you want to keep the general of that.
No,
I'm saying
whoa.
Because our offense we led the league last year in 3 and outs.
No.
Well, that's unfair. I mean, the Titans' offense sucked, and they want to keep.
We're not going to gloss over that. The general over the offense is now in Atlanta. That's the general.
The field general, then. The field general was that led the offense that sucked. You're going to advocate bringing him back. However, when you lead the NFL in 3 and outs, you damn well better be flipping the field.
Did they lead the NFL in 3 and outs with him as quarterback?
They did. Yes, they did.
With him as quarterback.
At the end of the season, they let.
Well, he didn't play the whole season.
They probably were near the top. But again,
yes, they probably were.
The Titans' offense was terrible. Also, worse than the Browns.
We're arguing. You say there's 25, 24.
I originally said 33%, 24 teams that would what?
Keep their quarterbacks.
100%, like that. Know that their quarterback is set in stone.
Penned in.
The teams with the quarterback not penned in.
Yes.
Right.
And by the way, most of them have high draft picks.
In the AFC East, you have the Jets.
Yep.
Dolphins.
The Raiders.
You have the Dolphins in the AFC East.
Yeah. You have the Raiders. Oh, you're going division.
In the AFC North, you have the Steelers. And you have the Browns. That's 4.
Yep.
In the AFC West.
Well, even the Steelers. I mean, isn't it kind of foregone that Aaron Rodgers is coming back?
We don't know for sure he's coming back.
Why'd they bring Mike McCarthy as their coach?
If Aaron Rodgers is there, then he's in. So that's 3.
I would pen Aaron Rodgers.
That's 3.
I would pen him.
The Raiders, we know because they're going to draft Mendoza. I'll count that.
So that's 4.
AFC South.
Colts. Do you want to consider them? Daniel Jones most likely to return.
But
no, he is returning.
If he
He's Daniel,
oh, he is a free agent.
But here's the thing, guys.
He did a 1-year deal.
If Daniel Jones returns, we know he's the starter.
Yes.
So I'm going to count that.
Yes.
And so that's.
By the way, if you're the Colts and you're looking, you just go look and see what happened in Minnesota. If you're thinking about not bringing Daniel Jones back,
NFC
more the
East, everybody's good.
I know, I get that.
NFC North, everybody's got a quarterback in the NFC
Vikings?
North. No, Vikings. That's 4.
Vikings definitely.
That's
need
4
one.
teams. NFC West.
Have they definitively given up on JJ?
Not definitively, but he's not definitively the starter next year.
Well, neither's our guy.
I'm saying, counting up the teams.
Okay.
That's 4. NFC West. Anybody in the West?
No.
Cardinals.
Yeah,
Cardinals. That's 5.
Yeah.
And then the NFC South.
If you want to count the Falcons, you can make them 6.
No, I'm making them 6.
No, I mean, isn't Penix?
I don't think he's definitively the guy.
Penix is the dude.
I think Penix is
All right,
starting.
you want to count Penix? Fine.
Like-
so there's 5 teams.
I mean, he showed regression this year. But,
Yeah, he did, but he was also
I still
hurt.
think, I mean,
also
it's
tore
a
ACL
similar
for the
argument in
third
Minnesota, like with JJ. I think JJ's coming back. I think that they're
I don't think he's a short thing.
when they let Darnold go, they were in the same boat that Atlanta's going to be in
I
this year.
think he's likely the starter, but I don't think
So how many do you have?
So that's 5 if we count the Vikings.
I don't even-
Somebody, Mike?
Hey, let me tell you
5
this.
count the Falcons.
Hey, you know what? Hey, they like him.
It's pretty incredible.
They like him so much that they fired their general manager for drafting him and letting Sam Darnold go. That J.J. McCarthy is.
Well, but he's on the. I'm counting.
Well, he put him on the list.
I'm just saying. What I'm saying is like, look, hey, there is no way. I'm looking from the exercises. We put a bow on this thing.
What was J.J. McCarthy?
The exercise.
J.J. McCarthy numbers last year.
Not good. The exercise.
I want to hear the numbers because
The
if you're moving off him that quickly, he was a first round draft pick.
I don't think he should have been a first round draft pick.
But I don't think he's a guaranteed starter.
I don't either.
All I'm saying is, if we're doing an
Who's
exercise, and what we're talking about here is, if you're getting 8 people, you can get to 7. I picked 7 people before I picked Shedeur Sanders. 7. There's 7 right there.
I would hope so.
We admit it. 7.
You're not going to pick Myles Garrett before him. You're not going to pick him before Myles Garrett.
Now, after this 9, when you get to 9 and you got one more roster spot, you saying the people that's in the top 5 of your position, name me the other guy that you would like to put in over Shedeur Sanders.
Wait, 9?
No, it was 8.
So, okay, 8.
Yeah.
Name me the guy that you want to put in over Shedeur Sanders after we get
I told you, my number 8 was JOK.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Like, is JOK a top 5 linebacker if he's healthy?
JOK had
when he-
hold
2
on.
years. I don't know. I can't.
JOK
When he went out, he
I
was.
would leave him out.
JOK had a catastrophic neck injury and has not been seen in the building.
Yeah.
I'm not keeping him.
Wait, see, now I did
Nobody
some
would take
research
him.
on that this morning. Maybe you know more than I do.
Yeah.
I want to ask that question. What is
Nobody knows
JOK's
anything.
status?
I don't think anybody
He's
knows.
not been in Berea?
Oh, I don't know about that, but
We haven't seen him. We haven't heard an update. He had a neck injury. I don't know. I can't keep
just
counting
because
that.
I know, but
yeah,
just because
we don't know that
haven't
he's
seen
not there.
No.
We have no idea.
That's not.
I mean, I would hope he's there.
He hasn't been.
That's not the point.
Really part of the team
That's
for a
not
year and a half.
the point is his career is up in flux because of the seriousness of his injury.
What are the chances you think he comes back?
I mean, it sounds, I think, very slim at this point. If he hasn't, we haven't even heard about him in a year and a half.
So after JOK, and if you don't take him, who else is the next guy that you're going to take over Shedeur?
I mean, if I had to pick somebody besides Shedeur,
You're going to laugh at this because I killed him all year, and I stand by it. He played all horribly. But I'm prioritizing Jerry Jeudy over Shedeur Sanders.
I wouldn't because nobody's taking Jerry Jeudy.
No, 2 years ago he had 1,200 receiving yards.
Doesn't matter. He's overpaid.
That doesn't matter?
I just don't think anybody would take him.
I don't think anybody would take Shedeur. How many teams need
You may be right.
What about Alex Wright?
But it's a
Young
quarterback.
Just signed a
Yes.
pretty good deal.
Yes.
I'm just mentioning names.
Jay, you're making
Go to the back end of the defense.
I'm not trying to argue that Shedeur Sanders is better than any of these players.
No, I know
I'm
you're
just saying
not.
he's a
I know you're not.
quarterback.
He
Yeah.
is.
I'm not taking anything. You told me I was taking it personal. I ain't, like, you see, I ain't taking it personal. You said that. I didn't say that.
No. I think you're right. I think she's taking it very. Here's the thing, and I get it. When you plant your flag on a planet and you say, I own this, you own it.
No, when you
and I'll give you this, G.
No, when you do,
you are owning it, brother.
No, when you do the research, when you've watched him out of college, when you've broke down every tape, when you go do film review, when you go talk to people, it's just not me that says it.
I've done all of it. I've done all of it. I watched him in college. I saw his tape. I saw his NFL. I've talked to people.
Listen, I'm just saying, bro. I'm not the only one.
No, of course not.
Emmitt Smith says it.
But guess what?
Kurt Warner says it.
There are every
Drew
person
Bledsoe
that says
that.
There are people that say he's not. I'm not going to do this because it's not my source. We all know him. I think we all heard what he said. And this is a person that, just like, how much credit do you give Kurt Warner? I give Kurt Warner a lot of, he knows the position. But there are other people that know the position very well that say definitively never going to happen. So
time will tell.
But
that's the beauty of this.
Right?
Guess
So
what?
For every person that say
3 years
that,
from now, we can come back and we can say, just like we did on the Deshaun Watson trade, we litigated it in real time. And now we have the benefit of the results. We have history on our side, and we can go back and say,
Very rare, serious argument with me not involved, by the way.
Well, I will say this. Maybe,
kind of involved.
I was in the mix.
Maybe if we would get a bigger sample size, it would be more convincing.
Oh, I think we will this year.
Sample size is important for one, but not the other. I find that interesting.
What you mean?
Sample size is very interesting and necessary in the judgment and the progression of Shedeur Sanders. But we've already made the decision definitively that Dillon Gabriel will never be that guy.
Well, we don't know that the Browns have made that definitive decision.
The Browns clearly haven't. Now, that's a different story from what I think. I think they should, but they haven't.
But here's the point. I keep trying to. I don't know why people say this. I've never even said once they should cut Dillon Gabriel. Out of anybody in the media,
No, this conversation, you said Dillon Gabriel is done.
In this conversation, I said I don't believe that I never thought he could be a franchise quarterback coming out of Oregon. What I'm telling you is that when you got Dillon Gabriel on the roster, everybody wants to move on and trade Dillon Gabriel and move him to the land.
Not everybody, or he'd be gone.
You can't do it. You can't trade it yet.
No, but the people that care, the people that, like, when he's available to be moved.
Yeah.
What are you going to get for him?
Nothing.
We had this conversation upstairs last week. Someone said, well, they could always, they could get a piece for Shedeur. What are you going to get?
Are you talking about Shedeur or Dillon Gabriel?
I'm talking about both. Because we were actually, the conversation started about Shedeur, but it moved on to Dillon Gabriel because I go, you're not getting anything for either of these guys. Every team in the NFL said no to Shedeur Sanders 5 times. If he went out there, and I'll flip the numbers for you, just for this argument.
The Ravens wanted him.
Even if if they did, they'd have taken him.
The Ravens wanted him.
If they wanted him, they would have taken him. They had chances to take him. They didn't.
He's not the decision maker. Todd Monken said it.
Oh, well, then it must be true.
Todd said it.
Must be true. Here's what I'll say. Yeah. Even if you flip the numbers on Shedeur, and he was 10 touchdowns to 7 picks, and that's complete flip, and a plus-minus difference of 6. Even if you do that, which teams that passed on him last year and watched that would say, oh, I got to have him? I
don't think that would be the case. And by the way,
what would you give up for him?
For the record, even if the Ravens were interested, they were interested in him being a backup, not a starter.
Of course, yes.
So, so no team was interested in him being a starter. That's fair.
But my decision-making process in this, my decision-making process in this exercise has nothing to do with what other teams talk about.
My final word on this is that the difference to me between Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel, because I thought they both overall played very poorly.
I agree.
I think there were moments where I saw Shedeur Sanders and said, maybe.
Oh, listen.
And with Dillon Gabriel, there were never any moments like that for me. I don't care what the numbers say.
Same exact assessment.
Yeah.
There were moments where I saw Shedeur make a play where I said, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Now, there were plenty of moments with Shedeur also where I was like, oh, my God.
Well, and here's the problem. Because I said it's all an educated guess. And the sample size is what the sample size is. If we're moving on from Dillon after 5 starts, it's okay to move on after 7 starts with Shedeur. I agree with your assessment, I think, is because it's succinct. There were moments he looked very much the part. There were way more moments where he very much looked not the part.
Yes, I would agree overall.
And so if I'm making a decision on the future of my team and I can only pick 8 guys, if I save him, I'm letting go of guys that I know can play.
Well, we don't know. I don't even know that Bjorquez would get taken because every punter would be out there.
I bet the Rams would take his ass.
I don't know.
Might be a better punter.
I bet the Rams would take him.
I don't think very many teams is ever going to take a punter over
nobody would protect their punter.
Ever.
No, they wouldn't. Never. And I didn't either. But I did put that JOK.
That's sad that he would be in consideration for the Browns.
You know, Skip Bayless always used to say this, and it was so true. He goes, I want to eliminate kicking from football. All of it.
I would love that. I actually agree with him on that.
No punts. You always go for it on 4th down. and no field goals.
Love it.
And then I would always say, well, it is called football.
No, we got to change it.
Well, what do we call it? What
It's
do we change
handball.
We already have that.
Mike.
I've got to do the Guardians.
Well, so we're going to end the stream, and then we're going to do free live overtime talking Guardians. No, the Guardians topic will be overtime. So we're going to do it in overtime. We don't have really enough time to do anything else.
I had a feeling
we can't just keep going, Mike?
No,
we got to end the stream and fire it back up. So
we got to end it.
Just
well, if it's going to be free, then do a few super chats, and then we'll do the baseball and then some super chats.
Yeah, we can do that.
Here's some super chats real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
See it. Final Orbit says, shout out to Jay for his kind words on Channel 3 as they honored my father, Dr. Julian Earls, for Black History Month.
Oh, my God,
Jay
what a
and
story.
Leon Bibb speak.
Check it out.
Can I say this quickly? If you didn't see it, go watch it.
Yes, watch it.
Oh,
next one, Benjamin Sanders says, I'm watching from the hospital where my wife Abby is getting ready to have our first baby boy. Hoping to welcome a new Cleveland sports fan into the world. Am I doing him for a life of misery?
Yeah,
don't do it.
No,
it's a choice. It's a choice.
Make him tough.
I'm 0 for 60 in World Series. I'm 0 for 60 in Super Bowls, and I'm 1 for 59 in NBA championships. Don't do it.
We'll be back in 3 minutes talking Guardians.
See, that's a choice now because the baby's not born yet.
It'll be free overtime.
True.
See you in 3 minutes.